А ти молоденька, така гарненька, чого ти тут попереку лазиш? Чого ти тут лазиш?
А вам можна 53, а мені не можна?
Ну, я де знаю.
Збирають на себе або ефки, або воді, піски.
Зараз 6:40. Ми будемо раненько заїжджати на позиції. Безпека в міркуванні.
Йдемо по стежці. Ну, бажано в сторону вправо-вліво не сходити. Бо тут колишня територія вона була замінована, а зараз сміло можна ходити тільки по стежці. Лінія фронту отак, аж там. От дрон,
О, щось летить.
дрон летить. Зупинилися. Продовжуємо.
Поки українські військові розгортають контрнаступ на півдні, росіяни шукають можливості прорвати оборону на інших напрямках. Зокрема, їм вдалося це тут, між Куп'янськом і Лиманом. Але після того українські військові відновили частину втрачених позицій, зокрема Новоєгорівку, яка ось там позаду мене, і хутір Надію. І сьогодні ми на позиціях піхотинців, які обороняють цей напрямок. Тут росіяни далі продовжують свої штурми, вони не покидають спроб просунутись далі до Ізюма, зокрема, і Куп'янська. Але, як сьогодні розкажуть військові, вони все-таки утримують ці позиції.
Як брат? А то задвиньте на щось.
А?
Задвиньте щось. Інтерв'ю поки зараз.
В смислі? А що я маю задвигати?
Так що, скажи правду, як є, як служба.
Служба у нас важка. Підараси від нас, ну, звідси метрів 250. Перестрілюємося з ними. Щораз маємо конфлікти бойові. Як перестрілюємося? Вони нас винуждають, коли треба, по команді вогонь, відкриваємо вогонь. Коли не треба, мовчимо, не провокуємося. Стараємося бути тихо. Мій позивний батя. Мене ще й батальйон знає. І я повагу маю в батальйоні.
Ви командир зводу?
А? Ні. Я рядовий.
Ви рядовий?
Да.
А поводитесь як командир?
Ну, я такий я є. Я такий є. І все. Це позивний Іскра. Він теж дуже важлива людина.
Ми всі тут важливі.
Важливо.
Всі на своєму місці. Кожний потроху.
Просто до мене діти приходять деколи на сповідь. Приходить і каже, батя, я боюсь. Я пояснюю, якщо ти попав в гамно і їсиш зі мною, то не бійся. Чого? Я теж боюсь. Мені страшно. Коли йде обстріл, коли міни 82-й біля мене лягають, от 3 метри від мене міна як лягла, мене приглушило. Мені теж страшно, але я якось стараюсь побороти той страх.
Тут колись кацапи були, то їхня була позиція, зараз наша. Но їх тут дуже багато.
Я, Іскра, ми ні для кого не хочемо показуватися. Ми їм пізди даємо, блядь. Всього-навсього, що ми робимо. Даємо їм пізди. Іскра, я правий?
А вам скільки років?
Мені 55 буде 11 січня.
Так що тут окремий підрозділ старпьорів. Але ми ще фору всім даємо. Ну, якось так.
Все нормально, все чики. Хто хоче 100 тисяч, приходіть сюди, от класно тут, правда, Коля?
Тіло не втомлюється вже в такому віці?
Втомлююсь. Чому не втомлююсь? Якщо 4-5 суток я на бойових, під кінець вже починаю втомлюватися. Але я, розумієте, настроюю себе на те, що я не маю права втомлюватись. Потім я приходжу, я сплю сутки. Сутки тупо сплю. Втомлююсь, чого не втомлююсь. Вже вік просто за себе дає знати. Вік за себе дає знати. А так нічого, нормально. Підтримую молодь завжди. Завжди. От приходять молоді, був в мене випадок такий, коли почалася стрільба, коли був цей гармидер. Почалася стрільба, я влітаю в пулеметну точку, чому кулемет мовчить? А він сів, його заціпало, його в ступор вдарило. І він боїться. Попросив, нормально, все, об'яснив пацану, все, пацан почав стріляти.
Та не бійтеся.
Зараз. Ні, я не боюся, я боюся впасти. Все.
Буквально вчора, чуєш, Іска, така хрень була, я перший раз таку хрень бачу. Чую, міни свищуть. Ми впали, піднімаємося і чую бу-бу-бу-бу-бу-бу-бу-бу. Зривів нема. А вони, оказується, дистанційно мінують. І нам 6 штук з тої сторони положили, 2 з тої сторони положили. Дистанційне мінування нам дали. Ну, і цей. А? Та-та-та-та. І цей. А потім МКХ по нас почала робити. МКХ з 2-ї години з тантового вугла, вона вже задовбала, бляха. Я вже буду просив мінометку, хай її накриють заразу, бля. МК, щоб ви розуміли, це АГС їхній. Гранатами кидається зараза. І ще як потужно. Дуба такого ламає напополам. І це. МКХ їхня вчора покидалася, а так більш-менш спокійно. Порівнюючи з Бахмутом, я вам хочу сказати, хлопці, що тут набагато спокійніше. Бо в Бахмуті було дійсно в пеклі. Іванове, Хромове, Кліщіївка, цей Виноградник, де ми наверх виходили, водохранка, Куряча Лапа, водохранка. Там нас лупили 24/7, що 5 секунд взрив. Ми не перестаючи були під обстрілом. А тут набагато легше. Тут набагато легше. Ну як легше? Відносно легше. Тут, до речі, ми там менше мали стрілкових боїв, тут більше стрілкового бою є. Вони нас винуждають, вони от тягнуться, ну, він 70 метрів переді мною стоїть, і от по посадці починає пулями по нас текти. Коли вже ближче, я візуально його бачу, ми вже починаємо по них лупити тоді. Інакше не виходить інакше. Ми стараємося позиції не видавати, стараємося, щоб воно було максимально тихо, спокійно. Якось так.
То ви тут бачите росіян, так?
Чуємо, не то, як вони понапиваються, як вони вночі буянять між собою, потім гранатами кидаються, а потім перестрілюються між собою.
Серйозно?
Серйозно, ми на ту що кіно дивимося.
50 метрів від них вони всі шопачку.
Каже, ви їх бачите, ми їх чуємо і бачимо. Щодня.
Так що, ми йдемо на каву? Чи вона вже вистигла?
Ну, пішліть на каву. Я тут, то я вже з вами. Так, дівчатки, в таких условиях ми живемо. Оце наші умови. Буває таке, що якщо, наприклад, 8-10 годин бій йде, прийшов там, впав на листячку, поспав.
Це ви всю ніч тут були?
4 сутки.
4 добу?
Капець.
Ви як?
Нормально. Тримаємося. Дівчат тут бачимо дуже рідко.
Так? Не ходять?
Ні.
А дуже погано дало. Це Васильок. Це Васильок вийшов. Васильок це їхній міномет БМ-29, Васильок перевозний. От 4 вистріли пішло, зараз десь приходи будуть.
Зараз почнуть день веселити.
Так, день нас весело, дуже весело. Особливо під вечір. І МКшки, і РПГ, і СПГ їхнє, і АГС, і 82-й, і Васильок. Все нас молоде. А ще я вам хочу сказати, тут є велика популяція білок літях. Ті, що літають. Бозюні моя мила, яких тут страхіття Господня. Вони тільки між деревами літають. Ота що, знаєш, розкриваються, білки літають сірі.
Я думала, що вони тільки в Америці дуже.
Ні, у нас їх тут валом. Ще приходять у нас 2 диких кота. Приходять.
Ну,
На Айдари, на стрій приходять. Два диких кота. А чого вони приходять до нас на льошки? Бо мишей у нас багато, ну, є продукти, мишей багато, і вони приходять миші ловити. І лис приходить, там отявкає вічно.
Заяць є.
І зайці, і фазани кричать. Фазани кричать страшне, бляха.
Ви полюєте?
А?
Стріляєте їх чи ні?
Ні, нашу. Ні.
Ну, то
Так.
пополюєш.
Так хай же ж ви, хоч щось хай виживе. Ви ж, ми на підарів полюємо. Ми на підарів полюємо.
Тут легше на підра піти.
Підар звичайний домашній.
Привикший.
Ні, ми на підарів полюємо. Ні, на то ми не полюємо. Ви що? Ні.
А що ви кажете, вони п'ють? Їхні командири не контролюються?
Це рашка вся п'є.
Рашка вся. Вони між собою стріляються. Тоді 5 ранку чую, іди нахуй, сам пішов. І починається як морцування, блядь. А то ж 70 метрів ми чуємо їх. Чую, одна граната, бух, друга граната, бух. Все, тихо.
Мовчать.
Заїбісь, заглохли.
Це не одиночний випадок.
А як між посадками, між собою вони
Ну,
чешуться.
турять.
Блядь. Там буряти, а там, блядь, ще якісь нормандці чи хто вони там хуй їх знає, я не знаю хто. Ну вони, блядь, між собою як починають чесатися, ми тільки режимо з них, блядь. То лупляться так зі всього, що є.
А через що в них конфлікти?
Хто його знає?
По п'яній лаві. Конфлікт у них.
Або думають, що по наших стріляють, а насправді по
Так. Мурцуються вони страшно, блядь.
Це сухпайопольський, це ЗСУшний.
Що з того, що ви їсте, вам набридло найбільше?
Тушонка. Дуже приїдаюсь.
Тяжко фізично це?
Ну я скажу 3 важко, а 4 це вже трошки перебор.
Так.
Літо воно краще, ну бо тепліше і ночі тепліше. А зимою воно все ну, як сказати, на психіку трошки дає. І умови, і все, що тут відбувається. Особливо миші. Це наші кращі друзі. Вони разом з нами сплять.
А прям так по обличчю, так вони?
Буває по-різному. Буває в спальник залазять. Погрітися.
У нас таких мало вже осталось, патріотів. Дуже мало. А б'ємося ми для того, щоб вижити. І тримаємо їх тут підарасів. Бля. Ой, то є окрема тема, давай ліпше її не зачіпати. Може, я пів взвода положив. Моїх пацанів, що легло, молодежі, бля. І лежать у Львові, бляха, закопані. І в Кам'янці-Бузці, і в Ожидові, і в Червонограді.
Під Бахмутом ми всі свої забрали, ні?
Забрали всіх. Добре. От за про тих пацанів я її буду бив, сук, поки мене вистачить. Якось так. Не весело, сумно, але якось так. Буду бив, сук. Таких дітей мені ушатали, блядь. Ушатали мені таких дітей, що то. Ну, отак і воюємо, отак і живе.
А тут побачив пляшку. Вони що, вони все життя тільки на
Зайшли наші жіночка вийшла, ну їй років 45. В неї чоловік колишній був атошник. Був. Чого скажу був, зараз розкажу, чого був. Є доброжелателі, які здали, що він в АТО воював. Вони його закатували, геніталії пообрізали йому, все, катували, пальці пообрубували йому сокирою. Катували, як вміли. Закатували у жінки і у дітей на очах. Жінку зґвалтували. Бо він в АТО воював. Да, був такий випадок.
Так ви тепер прийшли в Борову, вам розказали?
Да, жінка
Сама вона розказала.
в якої ми знімали хату.
Це багато таке.
І таких випадків тисячі є. Тисячі. Дуже багато таких випадків.
Знайомого теж він в АТО служив. Його на руці герб був з козаком.
Да.
Відтяли руку.
Зварили і заставили руку з'їсти.
Таке.
І що, вони не звірі після того в людській подобі? І що, я їх маю шкодувати? Ні. По чесноку вони нас ненавидять, а ми їх. Якось так.
Що там з живого місця не було?
Касетка полетіла. Або наша міномет.
Я взяв ту лопатку маленьку, давай окопувати.
Пані зриває, коли долітає.
Воно в серці.
А чим ви займались, доктор?
Я працював в агрофірмі. Самою мирною роботою займався, корови доїв.
Серйозно?
Серйозно. Ні. Я робив на італійській лінії Milk Line. Підключав там все це. Так, я доїв корови. Да. Молочко добував. А як же, для держави старався. Серйозно. Да, доїв корови, ви не повірите, правда? У мене 70 сотих свого поля є, 2 гектара 40 сотих ще в мене орендує агрофірма. Да, я колгоспник, звичайний селянин. Вдома в мене своя коровка, є гусі, кури, свині, все. Звісно, я був хазяїном, поставив хату нову свою. А тепер я плюнув на то все, кинув і пішов родину захищати.
Nezdrovi vrhovi? Opet trebate šišanje? Više ne. Sad kosu možete produžiti do beskonačnosti. Novi Pantene Infinitely Long s nutrijentima provenije, cinamidom i vitaminom E popravlja i jača kosu zaglađujući je do vrhova. Za do 100% snažnije vrhove kose. Beskrajno duža. Nova kolekcija Pantene Infinitely Long.
А ти молоденька, така гарненька, чого ти тут попереку лазиш? Чого ти тут лазиш?
А вам можна 53, а мені не можна?
Я де знаю. Тобі дітей треба родити, тобі виховувати їх треба, тобі треба жити. Такі гарні дівчини з такими довгими волоссями.
Борщ варити.
Да. Коси гарні займаєш. Тільки в косичку їх треба заплітати завжди, як ідеш напередок.
Ви раніше не були знайомі, так?
Ні, звідки? Нас війна з'єднала. Нас війна з'єднала, поєднала.
Ви знаєте, що то?
Так що, смію вас запевнити, поки ми є тут, вони підараси ні на метр сюди не пролізуть. Ні на метр, це я вам гарантую. Коли я буду неживий, я вже вам нічого не буду гарантувати, а зараз гарантую. І поки є такі люди, як я, іскра є. Ще, брат, не переживайте, все буде чітко. Що я вам можу сказати? Їм гамнюкам, бляха, заказано все. Ще раз хочу нагадати, ми не воюємо з расньою, ми воюємо зі звірами в людській подобі. Звіри вони страшнючі, люті звіри. Ну ми їм даємо ради. Нічого, ми їх не боїмося. Хай вони, суки, нас бояться.
Я хочу чергово вам подякувати, що ви дивитесь наші репортажі з фронту, що підтримуєте громадське і не забудьте на нас підписатися. Дякую, що дивитесь це відео.
Ще можна одне до вас запитання? Хоч то воно дуже нескромне.
Покажіть.
А скільки вам років?
29.
Моїй дочці 31. Що ви тут робите?
Та я ж сказала, про вас розказую.
Нашу нам, дивіться, от нашу за нас комусь розказувати. От задайте з цим питанням. Ми ж не на рекламу. Ми ж за себе воюємо, за свою землю. Ми ж не на рекламу. Чи я, чи Іскра. Ми ж не на себе. Ми за свою землю
Ми
воюємо.
вас не рекламуємо. Ми-
Чуєте, якщо ми тут не будемо стояли, то передок буде там. Якось так.
А як думаєте, люди це розуміють, якщо їм не показувати?
А хрень
тих
його
людей,
знає.
як
Я
вас?
вже нічого тепер не знаю. Я півроку напередку в бойових діях був поранений, правда, в госпіталі провалявся, знов сюди приїхав. Я ж не втік, ніде не закусив. Я сюди приїхав. Я був важко поранений. У мене 9 осколків добули з боку, і з печінки 2 штуки добули. Цей. Нічого, живий. Чого і вам бажаю всім, щоб були живі, щоб всі живі. Не то, що втома, а відчувається зневіра. Зневіра в нашому Верховній Раді, які вони закони приймають. То, що ми тут багато не чуємо, але
Остров.
те, що ми чуємо, нам то не подобається. От
Okay, I'm
зневіра,
making a blind guess.
розумієте? Відчувається мала дуже підтримка.
Educated guess.
Це якби не
I'm making
волонтери.
an educated guess that you people who claim Twitch.tv is working properly for you, you've all been paid by
Ми будемо стояли
who
тут до
owns
останнього.
Twitch?
Але зневіра відчувається.
The bald one, Bezos. You have all been paid by Bezos. You have all been bought by Bezos, all of you, okay? Because for me, this shit never works. It never works on mobile, it never works on PC, it never works fucking
Хай вони
anywhere.
там хуйньою.
The
Я вибачаюсь,
only
хуйньою не
Used to be
займаються.
Bezos? It's not Bezos anymore. Who is it?
Якось.
Who is it now?
Для
The
людей,
only
для передка
only
особливо.
Twitch.tv
Тому що
that
якщо
works
вони
well
забудуть
for
за
me
передок,
for
передок
some
буде
reason is Twitch.tv on Opera browser, and everyone else using Opera browser bitches about Twitch.tv not operating well on Opera browser. So
Однозначно.
I don't know how that works,
Слава Україні.
but that is the only one that sort of operates, and even then it doesn't operate all the time. But on mobile, it's fucking useless, for example. I had to watch the last Dylan Burns stream. I had to watch it from the website.
Солдат-стрілець?
I had to go to site chat. I had to use that emote
його слухають.
of like, is it the stabbing one when you go and attack the Twitch chat? I had to be using that one like a peasant because I couldn't use the Twitch one properly. It didn't load. Nothing loaded. The emotes didn't load. The stream would just stop, and then I had to reload it. And it happens with everyone's streams. Like I'll be watching a stream, and every once in a while it just freezes. I see the chat moving, and the chat says nothing weird. So that's how I know it's a me problem, okay? So then I have to refresh it, and then the stream just continues normally, and no one else has a problem. I'm the only one who has a problem. I thought it was connected with advertisements before, but no, it just connected to me. Opera GX is controlled by the Chinese. Well, if the Chinese are the ones giving me proper Twitch.tv experience, then bless the CCP, I guess. Modern female beauty standards are influenced by tuberculosis. I know at the time. Was it tuberculosis? Am I thinking of something else? What was the disease Europeans had? We had a lot of them. We were nasty, nasty peoples. What was the disease we had that for a while women would be purposefully making themselves sick and staying in bed and basically getting, not really anorexia, because like it wasn't, you know, but they would be getting themselves really, really skinny, really, really thin, really, really weak. Yeah, because it was the beauty standard to be like very fragile and very pale. I don't know which one that was, but I remember reading a great analysis on this. And also talking about that, you guys know about the European beauty standard of using belladonna. Is it atropa? Belladonna. They were using this plant, and they were putting it in their eyes, click, click, click. And then what happens is when you put it in your eyes, like the juices, the plant juice, you put it in your eyes, and your eyes get, your pupils get dilated, And for a while, this was like the most beautiful thing you could have. You know, it was like the standard of female beauty. You know those cosplayers having those little the fuck is it called? Leche lenses, cosplay lenses. They would use those. Well, back in the time, they used belladonna, the plant, and it would actually make you go blind. They were making their eyes look so pretty that they actually went blind after a while. Europe was very smart. IKEA account in your Twitch will work and get Amazon Prime. Ha! Yandex! You know, I made a V-contact at one point. Because my relative was really into the idea of like grinding online on social media to grow as an influencer. So his idea was that he's gonna grow on all social sites at the same time. And I was basically using my accounts as a prop. And then I made a V-contact to follow him. It was a weird experience to be there. I mean, it's like Facebook. It's like Facebook, but a bit. And then I removed it. What are my videos? Wait, there's a flag. Okay, I have to look at the flag and I have to look at the videos. Okay, great. Wokeism is actually based. There have been many different definitions of what woke means. I have heard plenty different definitions. No one really seems to agree on one of them. So I have chosen to believe that the actual definition of wokeism is the one that I like more. So wokeism is based. Because my definition of wokeism is based. Wait, I wanted to do something and I forgot what. Oh. This. Enough. Look at this little man. Look at this little fella. I love him. You go, fella. You go. You take over the world. Are you visible? You are. Nice little fella. Be a bit big. Nice bit bigger fella. His flag is really vertical. Wokeism as it works in America. The problem with America is not that they have too much woke, it's that they are very dramatic. I don't know if you've read, there's one research that Destiny always talks about, in which they asked, it was basically asking people's perception on society around them, and Republicans have answered that 25% of people in USA are trans. The actual number is like 1% or something. They think 25% of people in USA are trans because they're so dramatic over it. American people are so dramatic over everything. Every once in a while, American people will be bitching about a civil war happening in USA. There is no civil war in USA. They constantly like bitching about something, and that's what they're doing with wokeism too. It's not an issue in USA at all. Remember when they bitched about drag queen story hours? They were bitching about drag queens and how horrible it is that they are presenting themselves as children. Whoa. It was a whole like thing with them posting videos of like burlesque shows and claiming that's what drag queen story hour is. And then you go and you Google what drag queen story hour is, and like they're just in huge dresses, covered up literally more than an average person would be in that situation. They're just constantly covered up, and they're reading like a little children's book to kids. Literally nothing dramatic over it. USA people just love being very dramatic. Yeah, so like never be too trustful of USA people's perception. They really have nothing to worry about, especially not when it comes to wokeism. There hasn't been like too big of a situation. Most of the drama just comes from like kids being cringy and then posting that cringe online. But I see it like people today being, you know, all dramatic over kids posting about, you know, having, I don't even know which fucking goddamn pronouns, cloud self, frog self, whatever the fuck. When people bitch about kids posting those things online, to me it's very similar to how when I was a kid, older people used to be bitching because we had scene kids, we had emo kids, and they were posting their shit on Facebook. And you also saw our parents, and they were being like, everyone's kids are cutting their veins now, and they're attempting suicide, and they're listening to music about death. And we all just, turned out to be normal in the end. Like, it's gonna be the same with these kids. They're gonna be frog self for a few years in high school. They're gonna grow out of it. Just, like, chill down. Yeah, work movement is basically an online thing. Nothing dramatic, nothing too bad. People saying there's gonna be a civil war, wouldn't survive a night camping outside. Oh shit, there's a great meme. I have to show you the meme. I don't know where it is. I saved it at one point. It was about, how communists are always calling for a revolution. And at one point, some dude asked other communists, like, hey guys, why don't you own a gun? Like, if there's going to be a revolution and you keep on calling for a revolution to happen, surely you will need a weapon, right, to go out on the streets and to fight. Why don't you guys have a gun? And the responses were like, I have very sensitive ears. I can't have a gun because I have depression. Like, you're calling for a revolution? You, bro. Come on, you can't go to fucking cafe and order coffee there without having a panic attack before you're gonna do a fucking revolution. My man, don't trust online people. When they're being dramatic over something, don't trust them, okay? Look around yourself. Do you see a plague of trans people coming in and indoctrinating kids around you? No, you don't. It's not a real fucking issue. Do you see communists starting revolutions? No, you don't. They're in their basements, rotting there. This is all just like Twitch thing. I wasn't a Seeing Kid. I was a fan of some Seeing Kids, but I happened to be lucky because I grew up in a village that would bully any sort of difference in behavior out of you. So I never dared to be different like that, I never dared to do anything wild. At one point I remember, like when I was 12 maybe, me and a cousin, we bought one of those, those like hair coloring kits, but they're like kids friendly. It's one of those colors that like they stay for, I don't know, a week or whatever, and you wash them out. And we did like one strike of our hair red. And man, the bullying we both received for like, whoa, going outside of the nose. Oh, are these kids Satanists? So I would have never had the balls to be a Seeing Kid. Andrew Callaghan Wits. Oh, I actually haven't. Are they good? Are they really going to go out of it if they use puberty blockers? They very rarely use anything. They very, very rarely use anything, because to use anything, usually you need a confirmation by a doctor, and most of them just kind of do online transitioning. In a way that most of them will have like a Twitter profile in which they refer to themselves as Cloud Self, but like most of them don't really do that shit outside of their very limited social circle. And it's like, how they don't dare to fucking go and get a sandwich in a local bakery because they're afraid of speaking to people outside. They will not go to a doctor to talk to a doctor about being Cloud Self and asking for puberty blockers. They're just kind of being cringe in places where it's safe for them to be cringe in, and then they grow out of it. The whole thing of like children getting surgeries and whatever, it's way overblown. It is way. I've legit seen people who believe that elementary school children are allowed to have a sex change operation. This is not a thing. This is just one of those USA drama situations. This is just simply not a real issue that anyone is encountering in a real world. It's like 9 months of pregnancy selective abortions, Like, it's not happening. This is not a thing. No communist ever takes responsibility for their actions. Oh shit, yeah, that too. That's too. Like, man, that shit is not going to happen. Come on. Who the fuck is going to be leading it? Look at the strongest communist voices right now. Tell me which one of them is leading their followers into a battle. I was bullied for wearing a bicycle helmet, for being a nerd. Yeah, like that. It's like you get bullied for everything. I wouldn't dare. And I think it was I don't want to say it was a good thing, but I want to say I had some very cringe ideas of what I thought was looking good at the time. Like, I had a whole phase, in my defense, I was a kid, but I had a whole phase where I really liked, you know, the same kid hair thing. I'm thinking of a specific thing. The raccoon one? Like, I remember being, I don't know, 13 or whatever. I thought it was the coolest shit ever. The one where they do this, like, man, I deserved being bullied. I'm very happy I got bullied, and you can't go to my profiles and just see a bunch of pictures with whatever the fuck that was. Once a whole class wanted to beat you. What did you do? Holy shit. American doctors. If you refer, I do think they have issues with their healthcare system, definitely. One of the issues being that they are quite easy, I've heard, to prescribe drugs to a lot of people. So if you're thinking of that, I could see that. Horsetail, yeah, could it be? I always thought that was, the way the thing was that there's another hairstyle. I don't know how it's called. You know when your hair goes like, but not curly, but like you have a thing which makes it go. There was a trend when I was young, and I always thought that was looking horrible. But I was still stupid enough to think that the raccoon thing was looking cool. It's like selective stupidity. I was very selectively dumb. Not to mention that the amount of incredibly stupid tattoo ideas I had in that age, I am so grateful to the universe itself that I was A, born poor, and B, no one allows kids to get tattoos. You have to be at least 18. I would have been walking around like a fucking clown if I was allowed to get tattoos when I was like 16 years of age. A fucking clown. I will forever support not giving children the right to make any sort of permanent changes on their body. I would switch it up to even like 25. I would switch it up so you can't get a tattoo until you are 25. Genuinely, I'm not even joking about this. 25, nothing previously. Sideburns? What the fuck is that? Do you even want to know? There's an actual style which is just like there's an actual style. Why does it cover so much of his face? Why does it cover so much? Oh, that is cool. Huge fight between punks and emos, and some Hare Krishna monks broke it down with chants. Stay. Which side would you be on? Where would you fit in? My family suggested to sit near a kid that was sitting alone in class instead of my girlfriend. Oh no. Later on, got bullied because dyslexia, and teachers kept comparing my homework with the rich kid in class. Oh no. Your family fucked you up. Your family fucked you up. I don't even know how mine started. I just like I was a quiet kid usually, so I was an easy target, I guess, from the start. But then I was a nerd, so a lot of the bullying was actually counter-affected by the fact that I was writing everyone's homework. So it was like they would usually just leave me alone because, like, you know, exam time comes, you're gonna need me, you dumb piece of shit. You're not gonna pass your classes without me, and they knew it. The last week, I went to an appointment for it was basically a conversation type of a thing. So my boyfriend went in to get his ears pierced. He wanted one of those like small stretches types of a style. I already have mine pierced, but I have an idea currently. I wanna get one of those like tiny little stretches too. So basically I went and I bought really, really tiny ones just to figure out how I'm going to feel about it. I asked about the tattoo. I explained to the woman that I have a very specific style. Saw some of their designs. I learned about a tattoo artist, by the way. There's a tattoo artist. He's in Zagreb. but he does tattoos exactly in the style that I would want, and I'm very pedantic over this. So I'm kind of hoping to be able to get an appointment there at one point, to figure out like the cost and everything, because I don't know how much he costs, and he has to be very, very expensive. But we also had a new tattoo shop open relatively nearby, and I saw one of their works today, and it was acceptably good. So I'm planning maybe to also go and check those ones out. Basically, I have lots of things in planning. I'm just kinda happy I have some money now, and also I'm happy that I'm older than 18 and I don't have my stupid ass plans anymore. Not even if it's a tribal tattoo. Tribal tattoos, I have a thing with tribal tattoos. There's this basket of tattoos that I usually dislike on a person. Tribal tattoos, you know those wolf tattoos? These ones. I usually am a big hater of wolf tattoos. I usually am a big hater of tiger tattoos. You know, when he goes, rah. Lion tattoos, same thing. Cat, random cats. I have a really, really hateful thing of tattoos that look like you just wanted to get a tattoo, so you just like went and put it on your body. You know, and tribal ones very often to me feels like someone just wanted to have a tattoo. So they just went into a shop and saw what looks cool and put it on their body. So because of that, I'm kinda not the biggest fan. Some people do them very well though. So I think it depends. You're having it for quite a while, yeah, that's a bit of a problem. But I'm happy that I've kind of grown out of the cringe phase of just wanting one, despite everything. And I'm kind of into a phase where I'm like very, very pedantic, and I will only get one if it can be exactly in the style I demand. And, you know, I think getting closer to finding an artist who does them precisely in that style is kind of cool. So I'm happy about it. What's the body? The body tattoo. Do I want to see it? Am I scared? Wait, what does it mean? What does it mean? Like traditional one? Oh, it uses needles? Wait, is it like my uncle has a tattoo of a spider. He starts, you can't see me. He starts here, the spider starts here, and the legs like go basically over the entirety of his fucking torso. And the tattoo was done by a dude taking like a fucking needle, a normal needle, and putting it in ink and just like stabbing. And he did it like a bunch of times, and that was it. He had no like proper equipment or anything. How did it not get infected? I don't know. It's just like it looks good. It's a good tattoo. It's just that I wouldn't dare. I would not have a balls to do it. Yeah, it's basically a prison tattoo, but it wasn't done in a prison. It was done in a village by a village tattoo dude. It's a good tattoo, to be fair. Like very clean lines and everything. It's a good. It looks proper quality. Just like, why would you do that? Why would you? Is that like less painful? Is it? I don't know how much they hurt. Okay. I actually talked to a man today. He went to the new tattoo shop that opened locally, and he was bragging to me about his tattoo. It's a crow. His nickname is a crow, so he tattooed a crow. Kind of tribal style, kind of not really my thing, but looks very clean. The lines are really, really good and everything. And he says it basically didn't hurt at all. I asked him about like the pain level, and he says it didn't hurt at all, like nothing. I do know that shoulder area hurts less, but Croatian village tattoo depends. I hear their rates have gone up recently, so I would have to check. I know in shops, we have a shop here which is like, for a small tattoo you pay 80 euros, and then each additional centimeter square you have to pay €1 more. the man in the shop today, he has one which is like, it covers the spot of his shoulder. I don't know how big that is. He paid 100 euros for it. I don't know how much they usually cost. I don't know how much the one in Zagreb costs. I assume it's very, very expensive. I've been mulling over a particular tattoo for like 9 years. Ah, yeah, smart. I'm even planning, you know what I'm planning to do? I'm planning to buy one of those fake tattoo things just to kind of like test out the feel. Cause I'm a bit of a pussy. I'm wondering like what happens if you get a tattoo and everyone looks at you when you're outside. Because I look at tattooed people outside. Do they like feel self-conscious when I look at them outside? They probably do. But I'm always like, whoa. I wanna test out the feeling. I wanna buy one of those fake ones just to figure out if I have the balls to even have one. Tattooed eyebrow. People tattoo their eyebrows. I'm kind of scared of people who don't have eyebrows. Like I met one recently. No eyebrows at all. Kind of spooky. It's like uncanny valley, you know? You're looking at the face and you're like, there's something wrong here, and you don't figure out what is wrong until you do, and then it's like, whoa. Scared of having something that's permanent. I think that if you're very pedantic over what you want, it can be alright. But like, of course, it depends on what you put on it, you know, kind of depends on what you would put. I don't really have strong, how would I say it? Strong trends incorporated into my ideas of what I want to put in. I don't even have like a wholly formed image of what I want, but I really like the geometric style. I don't know if you like looked at the geometric style ones, but they look really, really good to me. They've always looked really, really good to me. And I was always big into, not these ones. Not these ones, I am not thinking about these ones. Is it even geometric? I don't know how it's called. Gonna find something that more closely... I could just like show you the dude in Zagreb maybe. I could just... Do I know the name of the dude in Zagreb account? Man... The lines are very thin. Think of this, but like cooler. But I think like if you incorporate stuff that you would want, like they very often put like moon phases, or they put the planets in the design or something like that. Very often theme are the Greek statues too. I don't really want Greek statues, but I think if you put something else in the style of a Greek statue with like just the shadows and lines being used instead of like proper shadow work, I think it could look really, really cool. But I think if you use something that's more of an overreaching theme, rather than like a trend, I think that even if it permanently stays in your body, it's going to permanently have a meaning, right? So I think that's kind of cool. Slovenian, very similar. I have a family in Slovenia. We can understand each other well. So very, very similar. Greek bust statue of Tito. I mean, there's something like that, I guess. I don't know if I would want to put Tito on my skin. We have very big debates in Croatia right now over his influence. But something like that I feel could work, right? Like if you take something that's like fresher. I was thinking that there's like a bunch of different imagery I want to incorporate. Basically, I want to go to the dude and I want to ask him to give me some ideas on what he would do. But something like that, I was thinking, like taking something else but putting it into the Greek statue style, so it still keeps the same energy as the Greek statue style that you use. It isn't random as Greek statue. I don't really care about Greek statues that much. I'm not really a, you know, person too much into the whole time. Creams that change your skin color. Yeah. I did basically, I think as badly of them as I do about any other beauty standard imposed on people, which, you know, I think we understand why it's unhealthy. I think we understand why we shouldn't be supportive of it being kind of enforced in our societies. I think it's important to be aware what sort of stereotypes and what sort of prejudices go into what you consider to be beautiful and what you consider to be aesthetically pleasing. But at the end of the day, it has to be your choice whether or not you want to, change your skin color. In the same way, it has to be your choice whether or not you want to do some plastic surgery thing. You want to enlarge your lips, you want to put some Botox in. It all has to be your own thing. I think it's very important to be aware of why you think something is beautiful. And then if you still make, a choice like that, that's kind of on you. Go to jail and get presented. I don't feel like I would do good in jail. Most people who use creams to change skin color do it because they feel like it gives them some sort of advantage. But the advantage compared to the effort is too high. You get a much higher advantage in life if you spend that time learning a skill instead of changing something almost immovable. Okay, yeah, that too. I could see that. It's like a way to try and change your life without really doing anything that's actually going to change your life. So it doesn't really work too well, does it? Man, I remember the thing about like Korean skin bleaching thing. I mean, maybe. Next stream, I guess. Next stream look. I remember reading about Korean skin bleaching practices, and they have this saying that a white skin fixes any sort of a problem you have with your face. So, if your nose is like not really perfectly formed, you don't always need to do nose surgery. You just like go and you bleach your skin. They're not pale as fuck. No, they're actually darker skin that you would expect. They're not pale as fuck. They just do a lot of surgery. Not surgery, but skin bleaching and also makeup to look as pale as possible. They have a whole thing with thinking that tan skin is really, really unattractive. They had several, I didn't know how much you're interested in like the K-pop world, but they had several situations where celebrities would leave their skin natural and get bullied for it because they were said that they look cheap. You even have like currently few celebrities which are seen as incredibly brave because they dared to not go and bleach their skin. They had a Snow app. Snow app is a really big thing in Korea. Snow app is basically you take a selfie and it bleaches your skin, so you look even whiter than what you are. It also does like eye enlargement and everything, so it makes you as photoshopped as possible, but like skin whitening filter is always on. Had the special body lotion that didn't have whitening in it. I actually like here I got a catalog recently for a local beauty company, and they have skin bleaching face creams and everything. Part of me is interested. Part of me is genuinely like, I really, you know what I want to do? I want to use it on half my face to see what happens. Does it really work? Does that thing work? And I really, really want to use it on half my face to see what happens. But what if it works and then I'm left with like mismatched face? I want to test it out. I wish there was a way to test it out. I should probably I'm gonna draw something on my arm or whatever and just like use the cream on that. And then I'm gonna tell the people that I tried a shitty tattoo and it failed. Yeah, I don't know if that thing even works. Also, I wonder what happens when you use it and you're like already pale as shit. I'm just wondering. Just like half. Oh, come on, that would be fucking great though. People would always think I have some dramatic makeup and I wouldn't. Was this you okay? Man, wait, it like actually works? kid. Oh. Oh, it actually works. Unsupervised use can cause a range of skin problems. Oh, okay, okay. Man, it actually works. I'm not pale. It's like too pale. Yeah, I don't know. Pale compared to a normal person, but not pale to an effect you would see me and go as a it would be seen, basically. It would be seen. You could see the effect. Color tattoos? AC French is fancy. I have a thing with color tattoos. There's a Ukrainian artist I follow who does dragon tattoos mostly. I don't want dragons, I'm asking. But she does them only in black ink and red ink. In fact, I really need to show you like Instagram for all this shit. I'm finding really hard time to explain it. What's the name of that? What's the name of that? What's the name of that? But she does them in just black and red. And I was thinking if I do want to incorporate color, I want to do one color only. Because it also reminds me of another tattoo artist that I follow who's using just blue. It's just blue, only blue. So it's kind of like, you know those like porcelain things? You know those porcelain things, those like plates? It basically looks like that. And I think it kind of looks neat. So I'm thinking of, you know, but one color only. I'm not really a big fan of colorful tattoos for some reason. And also they seem very hard to combine with anything. So I'm not sure how I would be able to do that. Wait, let me try to find this. Oh, okay. I saved his posts. I didn't save his posts. I saved some other posts. But let me show you. Copy address. Let me show you to see how you even open these shit. Oh, nice. I figured out how to open Instagram. These things. I've been a big fan of these things. Shit like that. I've been a fan of those. It's like sketch, almost sketch thing, but not really a sketch thing. Just like a bit light, less hard on the color. If it's too much shading, it looks too dark in parts. I'm not a big fan of too dark in parts looking, but like I'm a big fan of like little details and everything, and I like those. So that is basically the style that I'm shooting for. Can't remember the name of the Zagreb account that I have found who does like specifically those ones, but I'm very happy he does specifically those ones because it's really hard to find. But what is the Ukrainian one? Have I found her? Oh no, I found the blue one though. I found the blue one. Let me show you the blue one. Look at this. This is the blue ink one. Don't know if you've seen those. But like these are the blue ones. And it looks like those porcelain plates, doesn't it? I think it's kind of cool. I think it's a neat style. I don't really know if I would go full blue. But I think it looks cool. So if you're a full blue type of a tattoo looking person, I think these look really neat. I genuinely think they're kind of cool. So yeah, I have to remember the red ones. Yeah, look at this. See. Come on, would it not be nice? It would be nice. I could actually put Dylan there. That is true. He would look good as a Greek statue, wouldn't he? So yeah, big fan of these. Big fan of these. But you know, it's hard to find artists who actually do the style. So You like the blue porcelain? Haha, get it. You go and get it, go and get it. It's really, really cool looking, come on. I also like these kinda with like red and black, but don't really know how much I feel about, you know, the imagery. I think I like dragons more as blue. Come on, look at this. Come on. I've seen so many cool ones around these days. I've just been trying to follow as many accounts as possible to figure out what I want, and I basically have learned nothing about what I want. I've learned that I want everything. I've learned I want all of it. If I manage to find you the red one today, I'm gonna show you the red one. If I don't, too bad, my dudes, I'll have to show it to you another time. It's a really cool one though. But it's something like that. Not really a big fan of colors. What was the name of the... No, I haven't found it. One day, I'm gonna have the ability to remember the people I interact with online. One day. Not today, but one day. All your favorite streamers on an arm with the text pantheon of the pussy lips underneath. I guess I don't really watch that many. Okay, wait, that's a lie. I will get like what? Destiny, and I would get Thompson, and I would get Dylan. The 3 fucking musketeers. I mean, Destiny gets pussy though. Isn't Destiny a hoe? I'm pretty sure Destiny is a hoe. Didn't he have a whole drama on Twitter these days because like he banged some other streamer? I'm pretty sure he did. Destiny is a hoe. He wouldn't fit in. These look cool for a month and then I would hate it. Yeah, that's also my fear. Like what if you get one and then you're like, oh shit, I'm bored with like having to, you know, wear clothes that look good with blue. One teardrop tattoo for every time you hear a pro-Palestinian being pro-Russia. Oh shit. Been around the block. Been around the block. True. A little hoe man. Little tiny hoe man. And I love him. He's genuinely one of my favorite people making content online. But he's kind of a hoe. And not only is he a hoe, I don't know if you follow the Twitter drama, but it's like he's a hoe, but every once in a while, he gets to bang a girl who is deluding herself into thinking Destiny will stop being a hoe for her. And it never happens. It's like the usual, the perfect female experience, and it's just playing over and over and over with the same man. You know how every single teenage girl, you know, went through the phase of a man saying stupid shit to get her in bed. Every single teenage girl, you know, okay? We all have known men, either our age or like a bit older, who would be saying very, very lovely, dovey things to us, pretending that I give a shit about you, stuff like that. They get you in bed. And then after they get you in bed, you're still under the illusion that they care, even though they show you they don't. Very like the usual experience. Everyone went through it. But it's kind of cool how with Destiny it keeps on happening over and over and over. And none of these streamer girls ever learn from each other. It's like they just go with him. Why? Why? Are you not aware that's a hoe? That's a hoe, man. Come on, like have realistic expectations. Hey, yo, Wolf Skeptic, how are you doing? And then your favorite streamers? Oh shit, no. Oh yeah, actually. Yeah. Oh damn, yeah, I actually want that. That could be really cool. That can genuinely look really, really good. It's just like, I mean, I feel like getting a tattoo of streamers is going to create some horrible time when someone goes like, hey, what's the meaning of your tattoo? Who are these people? And I have to explain that I stream on twitch.tv. Could just tattoo all the Pepes like this. Of course I'm a feminist. My house of yours. Yeah, basically that. It got me thinking a lot because the last streamer Destiny did this with, I even like her as a streamer. I think she's kind of cool. But she did this whole thing with like, oh yeah, we banged, and he was pretending that he cares about my mental health, and then he like didn't want to hang out with me anymore. Like, girl, that's just. Did you never go through this? What's surprising you? You're a grown ass woman. You're a grown ass woman. That man's a hoe. You should have seen this coming, girl. Is this your first time having this experience? I very much doubt it's her first time having that experience. It's like impossible. His tactics would work on them. Yeah, I do actually have a theory that it's because Twitch streaming is a hobby for people who have no friends. Like, if you're here, you don't really have a good social life, you know, especially if you're actually actively streaming rather than being in chat. I feel like the social life is a bit interesting. And I feel if you start at it very young, you don't maybe go through all the same experiences, social experiences that a normal person goes through. And then it grows into your job if you become successful. And you never go through those experiences at all, right? Because now you're just live streaming. It carries no social interaction. It means you don't have to figure out how to work with your coworkers or colleagues or whatever. You're just kind of like streaming. And then a dude comes in who's a hoe, but who also has really, really really good ability to function in social interactions, I feel. Like with the amount of women he banged, I feel he's really, really good one-on-one. So he approaches you and you don't know how to deal with that, right? Because your hobby is Twitch streaming, your job is Twitch streaming, you don't deal with men, you don't deal with dudes. You didn't have to, you know, work retail and deal with creepy costumers saying the weirdest shit to try and get you in bed. You never had to do that. So I feel in that situation they're just not prepared. They're not prepared for him, they fall for it. This one right here is Destiny. He argues for incest. He doesn't argue for incest. It'd be illegal. Dylan Bears, okay, you described Dylan properly. He's fucked everyone's mother and talks about it to tens of thousands of people. True. Fair. Now, the way I've seen that, okay, I may have not seen Destiny's entire incest conversation. What I have seen him talking about is the question of why we see incest as repulsive. And the idea was basically that people will say that they see incest as repulsive because it could create offspring, which is, you know, kind of fucked up. But why then do we think about incest where no offspring can be made as equally repulsive, right? So, like, it's not just about their ability to make children who are going to have some sort of a genetic defect because these people are relatives. It has to be something else. That's the part of the conversation I've seen. I thought it was an interesting thing to question, but you can't really question it with normal people because the second you start questioning it, it's like... but it's an interesting thing to pose. Like, do you really hate this for this reason, or do you just hate it because it deserves to be hated? Kolinda Kitarovic? Kolinda Grabar-Kitarovic, like our president? Based. I wish he was our president now. We don't know what we have lost. That is what I think. We don't know what we have lost. We didn't know what we were losing when we didn't vote for her. It was a stupid choice. I know she didn't really want to be president, and we kind of we thought it was a smart choice not to give her the position for another 4 years, because, you know, it was really obvious she didn't feel like being in the position anymore. But my man, we got a clown leading us right now. We chose the clown, but we got a clown leading us. Come on. I don't know. If Kolinda was around, we would not have someone in power talking about, you know, poking the Russian bear or whatever the fuck. We would have a normal person in power who knows how to behave in normal foreign policy interactions. And she wouldn't be spreading around Russian propaganda. Absolutely not. Incest is seen as repulsive because it's almost universally binded to grooming and power dynamics. Oh, it's only morally neutral in cases where two related people are distanced from each other till adulthood. I could see that. We can avoid many genetic illnesses. Yeah, I've read that like the possibility of them is, I mean, I want to say relatively low, but when you compare it to the possibility of genetic illnesses in other situations of people who are not necessarily relatives, their genes just don't vibe, getting together and creating offspring, it's really not that dramatic of a difference. If I'm talking to someone offline and they bring up incest, I instantly lose the debate. Because people would think I'm a psychopath for saying it's morally neutral too. Yeah, it's like you can't say it. You can't say it. You can't say shit like that. It's not a conversation that normies are ready for. It's basically what you're trying to say. Oh yeah, the Habsburg Joe. Yeah, like that. More and more generations of this definitely does create big problems. When it comes to, again, depending on how close the relatives are and everything, the possibility really isn't that dramatically high. But also the thing is that, again, what I've personally seen Destiny talk about, which I thought was the interesting part of it, is that, like, think of a situation with two brothers. Then there can be no children made, right? So, like, no kids can be made, no offspring can be made to be genetically fucked up from that. Would you say that is morally neutral? Because probably your reaction would be, ew. And then the question is like, why ew? Because no children can be made from this. So is it really about children? And is it more just about the fact that, do we despise incest because we despise incest? You're not the incest girl. Yeah, so don't. Maybe don't. It's one of those conversations you can't really talk to normal people about. Which I maybe even think it's okay, because I don't really want normal people going around questioning the morality of incest. I'm okay with them going, incest? I'm absolutely okay with society staying the way it is. Like, we are the fringes of society. We want to question weird shit, we can question weird shit. Let the normies stay where they are. They're carrying the society. It's usually brought up by Muslims. So I talk about a high rate of cousin marriages in the Middle East. Oh, nice! Again, that's smart. I should do that with Hungarians next time. I'm gonna purposefully enter conversations, because like all Hungarians I know locally are very conservative. I'm gonna purposefully enter conversations like these with them, and then when they bring up incest, I'm gonna be like, your mom and dad? Your mom and dad? Your mom and dad are cousins. All Hungarians in this area have mom and dad who are at least cousins. At least, like, close to being cousins. They're all related. They're all fucking related. Vicky says, no! What flag is that? It's this one. Wait, where is it? It's this one. It's Naifa. Let's say there's a genetic illness for a woman and she marries a man. Most people wouldn't stop them, let alone make it illegal, right? Ah, that too. Yeah, that too. Well, maybe we would have debate. Would we have debates on it? We maybe would. All Hungarians I know. Let's talk about aliens and conspiracies. I mean, the ones I know want to talk about fishing, so I guess mines are more, close to incest. Bravo, like 35% of Americans. How did you count that? Oh no. We're fucking footballers. Footballers are the pinnacle of society. Footballers are the pinnacle of what Homo sapiens is. Most inbreeding depressions occur after 2 or 3 rounds of follow bomb and stuff. You know what I think is an interesting thing though, when they talk about children being more likely to form with genetic defects, is that I think an interesting question is how they feel about abortions in that case. If like a woman knows a child has some sort of a genetic defect, how do you feel about this woman going to an abortion? Because I had a conversation. When was this? I don't even remember, my dude, but I had a conversation with a dude about abortion, and he claimed that in was it Iceland? He claimed that in Iceland, women are aborting fetuses with Down syndrome signs so much that Iceland almost has no Down syndrome overall. And I was like, okay, how do you like feel about that? I don't know if you're bringing it up. I know dudes are conservative, but you know how conservatives are. So it's like, it's a claim that you're like, where does a conservative fall on this? Is he like, yeah, there is? Or is he like, no, horrible? But his opinion was that European Union condemned Iceland for this. So because of that, he figures that, it's a wrong thing to do. Which, by the way, I have never managed to find proof for it. But I think it's an interesting conversation regardless, what happens? It doesn't even have to be an incest-related situation, but like in other situations, how do you feel about that? What? Psychopathic? I don't think there's a psychopathic abortion existing. I think that it always has a reason. It's not really a pleasant experience to go through, and it's very, very expensive. So usually it's it's done for very, very needed reasons. I don't know if you've checked. There's a list. Was it USA Made? Of like reasons why women have gone to get an abortion. Scrollerino. Holy shit, my chat is glitching. Okay, fine. How do you even say this? Oh, wait, I can. Oh, okay, wait, let me figure this out. But it was a conversation about how... Okay. Why women get an abortion, and so many reasons were, like proper, absolute proper fucking reasons. Yeah, it was a lot of financial circumstances, not being able to afford it, but like a lot of them being like, oh yeah, I have to take care of my family. I have to take care of my family, I have to take care of my parents, I have to take care of my relatives, I have something else to be like, where I have to be really, really involved. I can't afford to be pregnant right now. Lots of them were because the relationship just wasn't nearly as stable. Lots of them just proper financial problems, which I also think are a good reason. Oh yeah, I don't trust that psychopathic abortion is a real thing. I think it's one of those dramatic things, like the whole drama with, 25% of population being trans people. I think it's the same thing. Like, no, no. Women don't go to get an abortion because they don't want to get fat. It's not a thing that happens. Abraham God says life begins at first breath. Have you considered, though, that most conservatives don't really base their values on the Bible as a book? They base them on vibes. They base their values on vibes only. New abortion. There's always new abortion lore. I have heard in USA you can abort your baby when it is getting born. So the doctor just has to kill the baby. Heard it from confirmed sources, aka USA YouTubers. But confirmed sources regardless. Wait, I wanted to fix the video. Okay. Like this. I'm about to test. I'm about to test the flag website, so you know, wish me luck. 98% are doing it for legit reasons. Doesn't it make sense to ban it? For what the 2% are doing? That too. I feel like the entire though thing of like bringing up the 2% in itself is quite dishonest. It's like if we're having, you know, a conversation about lifestyles we judge, like I could, you know, I kind of judge couples who get an unplanned pregnancy at all. There's a thing, I know few couples who had an unplanned pregnancy. They went through with it. Most of them went through with it. But like, how do you get an unplanned pregnancy in this day and age? You have to be choosing to be dumb. It's not like you don't have access to condoms. It's not like you don't have access to birth control. You got access to all of it. You're just choosing to be stupid, right? So do I judge people for that? Yeah. Is there a tiny percentage of people who, you know, go to get an abortion because they were stupid like this and they stayed pregnant and, you know, now they have to get an abortion? Yes. But like, it feels like it would be very weird of me. I'm trying to put myself in the mindset of like, there's an abortion conversation happening and I enter it with, yeah, guys, I support abortion, but I don't support it when people are stupid and they get unplanned pregnancies because they're just too lazy to put in a condom. Like, it's a very dishonest way to approach the conversation in the first place by bringing up the tiny percentage of people who act this way. And then, you know there are a tiny percentage of people, you just have to bring them up. Why? For what reason? Why are there to focus? Or seriously unlucky? Yeah, I know of cases of like women not knowing that certain birth control doesn't work with certain other medication. So I could understand that. I know couples who still do the pull-out method. You're stupid if you do the pull-out method. If you do the pull-out method, you better be prepared to raise that kid. Okay? Because the chances are really, really fucking high. Okay? You're trusting blind luck, my dude. It's just dumb bassery. A woman denied any ambivalence or guilt concerning abortion. I mean, it could be though, right? You could not feel guilt for it. I hate how people make fun of centrists when they're the only people who have ideas based on reality. No, I think people don't know what centrists are. But I think lots of centrists don't know what centrists are. I think lots of centrists are people who are just trying to be pussies. It's like there's a difference between people who are who actually have consistent stances and consistent values, and because of these stances and then values, they are just like they belong in centrism because they don't align with left-wingers or right-wingers. And there's a difference between that and the people who don't have any consistent values nor any consistent stances, and they just kind of try to be in the middle of any conversation. So it's always like either playing the pussy option or playing the devil's advocate, but you're always trying to, be in the middle. I don't think it's the same. Like, yeah, like you have centrists, for example, proper centrists now, who are still supporting Ukraine very strongly, right? I feel that's a center position. But then you have pussy centrists who would be like, yeah, you guys, you have to look at both sides. Which is not really a centrist position, is it? It's a dumbass position. So I think it's, there's proper centrists and they're fucking based, and then there's also the interesting types. Lots of neutral people and pacifists call themselves. Lots of neutral people and pacifists need to get bullied. What did I want to do? Oh yeah. He just shows to me like this. Let me see if he's gonna work like this. He's refusing to be played. He's refusing to be played. What you drinking? It's actually, it's like some fake ass Coca-Cola. It's fake ass Coca-Cola. And then I'm drinking water. Oh no, it's actually changing. It's actually changing. The flag works. I can save a video and I can put it as a flag. I've just learned this today. Nice, nice. That was cool. That was cool. People who have views that are not in line with any ideology are probably called pragmatics. I didn't even know, is it? Are we? I like that. I like that, I like that. Need a base to always find a view that benefits you the most. Do all views have... do all views have a... option that benefits you and option that doesn't benefit you? I feel some of them are just mostly related to how it's gonna benefit or not benefit other people. Andrew Garfield edit playing? I guess it hasn't been redeemed actually, so no, of course you can't. Of course not, of course not. Hey, I clicked on none of my links. I clicked on none of my links. I have shown you nothing. I've shown you... No! I have shown you nothing that I wanted to show you today. We just went through tattoos.
Good afternoon. Dear friends, I want to thank the United Nations Women's Peace and Humanitarian Fund for addressing this crucial topic for the world and for Ukraine in particular. Because when we are talking about the women who work in crisis conditions...
I have to see this one, because I'm gonna forget later. Hey, you see, I could actually tattoo this on my face, and then I could tattoo this on my arm, and then I would have both at the same time. Uncanny Valley. That's the point. I want to have a tattoo that people see from the other side of the street and they scream in terror.
About the women who lose everything due to the war and start over, Ukraine and Ukrainian women have something to say about it. In the place of my shop, there is now a crater from a Russian missile. The invaders destroyed the greenhouses with my flowers. Occupiers took over our cafe. These are just some of the stories from women in Mariupol and Bakhmut. The names of these destroyed cities are now well known to the whole world. But it's important to remember that not too long ago, people lived there, and they were their workplaces and businesses. Just think about these figures. Every second small-sized business in Ukraine is run by women. What's more, I would say these are remarkable women. 67% of them have a university degree, and every fifth woman even has 2 degrees. These are women who, in the past year and a half, have lost and continue to lose everything, not just their homes, but also their businesses and jobs. Luckily, they are fortunate to stay alive. 95% of our women entrepreneurs have felt the impact of the war. If they hadn't lost what they had lost many opportunities, being set back in their development. But as I've already mentioned, these are truly extraordinary individuals. A woman who became a forced displaced person but opened a cafe in a new city, providing jobs to other displaced persons. Women who employ women and teach them new skills. And they manage to volunteer as well, because most of our volunteers are also women. Women who have become forced displaced persons abroad also don't want to remain passive recipients of aid. They seek independence and activity. Thus, every 10th new business in Poland, the country which has taken in the most of our refugees, is Ukrainian. And 85% of them are women-owned businesses. Taking this opportunity, I call on the governments of our allied countries to provide opportunities for women's entrepreneurship and activism. Our women are willing and deserve to be active participants in the economy. In general, I would say that our resistance, our battle for life, has a feminine face. There are almost 60,000 women in the Ukrainian armed forces. This figure is the highest among NATO countries' armies. 5,000 women are actively involved in combat operations. Right now, the government is considering what it can offer to these women when they return to civil life. For instance, the government has adopted a strategy to reduce the gender gap. This strategy aims to enable these young, dedicated veterans with skills and entrepreneurial experience to fulfill their potential and unfold their capabilities. It's about ensuring that their experience contributes to growth. Instead of craters left by the missiles, their efforts should lead to the growth of new, even more successful endeavors. We're especially grateful for any support in this regard. War is too challenging for anyone to face alone. Moreover, by investing in women, we're investing in our common growth. Countless studies demonstrate that if women were to play an identical role in the labor market as men, the global annual GDP could increase by 26% by 2025, as it is stated in McKinsey Global Institute report. This isn't just about Ukraine, this is about the entire world. I would like this verse to be interpreted correctly. By investing in women, we are investing in growth, responsibility, and peace. We in Ukraine deeply understand this because we feel it right now. I'm grateful to everyone who understands this and contributes to it.
Man. Okay, proper. Nice. Nice, nice. Man, she's doing great fucking work. She had to thank the UN, though I'm not too happy about that. I'm not too happy about the UN being mentioned in a positive light. But good speech, I thought, good speech. No, Ukraine's Eastern European. I assume they have very similar problem with the gender gap as, every other Eastern European country does. We still have attempts. We're currently making very desperate attempts to make it so that when a political party tries to elect a new leader or whatever, that they have to have a certain percentage of women on the ballot, because a lot of women apply for the position usually, and what happens is they're just not put on the ballot because no one thinks they're going to get any support. So we're trying to push right now that a certain percentage of women must be put in as an option. But what's happening is that the political parties just don't put women on the list, and they would rather pay a fine. They would rather pay a fucking fine than give women the opportunity to lead the party. So yeah, we would definitely have a huge thing with a gender gap in society here. So I'm happy she's fighting against that. It's not about pushing people into doing some kind of work. It's about giving people a chance to do some kind of work. It's about creating equality in a way that women should be allowed to work the same jobs as men can. It's about that. It's like, if you're a woman and you want to apply to go work construction, you should be allowed to go apply to work construction. They shouldn't be differentiating on applications based on gender. Surely they can test out the skills needed, they can test out everything else, but they shouldn't be allowing them to select applications based on gender solely, and that is what a lot of businesses are doing. And it goes the other way around too. A lot of jobs here looking for waiters, they don't allow men to join. Lots of supermarkets who want people to work in them, they don't allow men to join. They will like refuse your application if you're a man. It's a ridiculous thing. They're not questioning for experience. They're not trying to look into how skilled you are at work. They just see your gender and they throw away the application. It should not be allowed. 50-50 spread on the ministers and having roughly 50 women in parliament. Oh, nice. Is it working? Was that recent? Our government agreed to have 40% of women on the lists. Didn't work. We have one party in Croatia. One party, and it's the Greens. It's the Možemo. Whose opinion on Ukraine I still have not gotten, and I keep on asking them, because whether or not I support them directly depends on how they comment on Ukraine, and they are refusing to say anything. So I'm guessing that's an answer by itself. But they're the only party who's actually doing this. All the other parties would rather pay a fine than put 40%, than allow for 40% of the list to be a woman. Most jobs don't have a reason to do that. Unless it's Hooters, there's not really a reason why you shouldn't be allowed to work there. Yeah, definitely. Especially like, I work retail, we could use a man. It's genuinely physically hard work. We could use a man. They're just not allowing men to work. We could use a man. When I was working as a waitress, at one point of my work experience that I was looking for a new person to hire, I remember a man coming into an interview and they gave him another time to come in for the interview again. And when he left, the boss specifically told me, like, he's not getting in. The dude's not getting in. Like, it's a man. I don't want a man to be working here. But it was also physically quite hard labor. You could use a dude. We could use someone who's able to, like, lift beer boxes and shit. I'm just saying. It's ridiculous that we're just allowing them to chunk out application based on that. Women in charge said men are not allowed to do women works unless they're immigrants. Yeah, it's a ridiculous thing. It's a ridiculous thing they're even allowed to refuse to just, like, consider your application based on gender. It's fucking stupid. For as much hate the USSR gets. They did do an excellent job in women emancipation thanks to the wartime production labor needs and literacy for all policies they had. Okay, that too. They were... I have read interesting things about that. About how it was less about them allowing women to work in a way, and how it was more about the fact that everyone had to work, because if you wouldn't work, you would be in a very tough situation financially. So, like, you had to work. There was no question of, like, you know, hey, you have a choice. You want to work, you don't want to work, which job do you want? No, you had to be working. You had to be working, because if you weren't working, you would be fucked. You have classes. Good luck. What percentage of men work in that? In retail? I can tell you that out of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shops in vicinity, ours was the one who had a man working for 5 months. One man. One dude only. This was, around like 13 years ago or something. It's the only example of a man working in such shops, and it's still being talked about. Now, when we talk about like big chains, they usually tend to be a bit better on this, even though it's usually women who are the ones working on the checkout, and it's the men who are the ones working in the what's it called, box storage thing, and they like bring out the produce and everything. So the jobs are split, but they have more similar numbers in huge chains. We're talking like big chains. But usually they have like 10 people employed per shift. When you look at most retail shops in Croatia. Most of them have way less people employed because most of them are way smaller. Like the company that I work for, it's the one that has shops in, I think, every single village in Croatia. And they very, very rarely employ men in any position. So I think it's more about the fact that we see women as fitting for service jobs, to be honest. I think it's the most of it. Because when you ask people about it, it's usually like, oh yeah, I don't want to be like, I don't want a man to be there to give me my produce. And you're like, why not? why not a man? And they're just like, no, I no. I remember when we talked about waiters, and I commented to one of my customers about how salty I was because the dude who applied to get a waiter job, he wasn't going to get it because he's a man. And I mentioned to one customer how, like, I'm not really a fan of that. And the customer was like, what do you mean? Like, of course I'm not gonna get my coffee brought here by a man. And I was like, why not? What's the difference? And he's like, no, well, it's just different, of course. I think it's just like Eastern European thing of, you know, where certain people work. I'm not trying to be like just saying it negatively affects women, because we had a man here working in the elementary school. He was the lunch lady job. He was a dude working it here, a man, older man from the village. Bro, the amount of pedophilia accusations I've heard, and he never did anything. There was no reason for people to make these accusations. He never made suspicious comments. He literally never did anything. It was just the fact that this was a man working in an elementary school to bring out lunches to children. And they immediately went, oh, he must be fucked up. Literally never did anything. He was a beloved man in the community previously. Like, everyone knew him. Everyone liked him. There was no reason to be suspicious of the dude, but no. The second he got a job in elementary school, suddenly everyone was like, why a man? Why not a woman? Why a man? Has to be something bad going on. Oh, we had a male nurse here. Oh my man, we had a male nurse here. People went into actual fucking fights over whether he was a nurse or a doctor. And the funniest thing is, we have the same female doctor. She was a doctor for like years here. She still is a doctor here, right? So the same doctor is remaining as a doctor. But the nurses, usually, because we are in a village, usually the nurses we get here are nurses who, they just finished their schooling. So they come here to get some practice, and then they leave to work in a better city. So the nurses change constantly, but the doctor is local and the doctor stays. And usually we get female nurses. We got a male nurse at one point. People were fighting whether this male nurse was the new doctor. Despite the fact he was sitting at a little table when you enter, he was the one asking for your name and for your card. And then he would give it over to the doctor, to the actual doctor, right? Like, it was obvious from the part of the job he was doing that he was a nurse. He was not a doctor, he was a nurse. He was there to do the helpful things on the side. But no, people fought about whether he was supposed to be the new doctor. Dumbest thing ever. Person called working in elementary school, bringing kids to work. Elderly called police on him because they said he had a beard. This one didn't have a beard, but that is ridiculous. Male cashiers in grocery stores was crazy because no male took these jobs in Estonia. Fast forward a decade and many male cashiers in Estonia now. Oh, nice! Wait, was it that men didn't want to take these jobs, or were they not allowed to? Because here they're not allowed to. They're not allowed to. They can't. They don't get their application taken seriously at all. It's like only women. For what reason? The best thing is, though, that it's illegal to discriminate like that. What? By confirmed by who? But what? By UN? Fuck. Oh, what are they going to do? Are they going to do something? Can they do something? Are they going to do something? Because of it. Wait, I need to read the document. Someone probably linked it in the responses here. No, it's not. It's not. No one linked the response. Allegedly. I'm seeing Israel. Fuck, I need to find a document. I need to find a document. Hey, yo, Froggy, how's life going? How is everything? My Opera browser opens the most chaotically. Oh, the IDF presented this as evidence for the headquarters. How? Trying to figure out how you get the intelligence to figure out all of this, but you don't figure out a way to just like go balls deep and send like military in the inside to wreck it. But yeah, I would love to see the responses. I would love to see the responses to this. Biggest hospital. Atheist, liberal, some conservatives. Oh, atheist based. Just busy as fuck. I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm so sorry. I hope you have enough time to rest. I hope you have enough time to rest and to sleep and to do your hobbies and everything. I don't know. Being busy sucks. Having work sucks. I'm still in my phase of bitching about having to work, my dude. Like, it's a cool thing and I like getting cash money every month consistently, you know? Don't get me wrong. But my man. Excuse to bomb another hospital. Excuse presented to who? Because surely, if they present this to the UN itself, hypothetically, if they present it to the UN itself, and they say, hey UN, we have to bomb this hospital because, you know, there's Hamas hiding under it. They have headquarters under it. We have to bomb this hospital. And let's say they do it. And let's say UN actually does an investigation and they look into what's underneath the hospital and they find nothing because the whole claim was a lie. Would we expect consequences? Like, I'm pretty sure UN would do an investigation. It would be quite an easy thing to check. Plus, if it's so deeply underground, and I don't even know if you can, like, bomb it to destroy it. I'm not even sure that would be the most effective way to do it. Don't know, base for bombing the hospital? Yeah, like, you're not gonna get them with bombs. This is like, do you guys remember that time when the Russians claimed that they destroyed a NATO underground bunker? 20, was it kilometers? I'm pretty sure it was kilometers down. with like all the NATO personnel. Bold of you to assume they would allow the UN to investigate after killing like 17 UN employees. Okay, yeah, fair point. Fair point, fair point. UN would not be allowed to come close, probably. Can see that. I can see that. Like, Russia wasn't allowing any
demands representation of Central Tibetan administration.
Russia wasn't allowing any sort of investigations into what, you know, their people were doing around. And we never saw any consequences for that. OSCE wasn't even allowed to go and look at what was happening in Luhansk. Non-profit political organization model out an elective parliamentary government. Cringe. I wanna know what you think. I wanna know what you think of these. You're my expert in India. You're my expert. I'm trying not to put sushi flags around. Doesn't seem sushi though, right? Seems normal. Fucking based, I guess. I'm gonna put it on. Even Hamas was calling for an investigation into the last hospital bombing. Ah. Destiny is really pro-Israel on this. Yeah, Destiny. I mean, he explains it well though, doesn't he? There's a problem with trying to disagree with Destiny, because like, no matter what you think, he always has a better way to explain his positions. But I think the only normal position is to be condemning Hamas for their killing of civilians, while also condemning the government of Israel for their, you know, attempts to kill as many Palestinian civilians as possible in this. I think you should be condemning both, and I think in order for your positions to be taken in any way seriously, you must be ready to condemn both. I think blindly excusing either one of them just kind of creates a very clown situation. Where you will see people, you know, being like, oh yeah, well guys, Hamas has lied already about this, and then they present you something that's just like a word from an Israeli official. Or like vice versa too, you know, they will be like, oh yeah guys, Israelis will lie about this always, and then they present you evidence to the contrary, which is just quoting some random Palestinian person. I think a lot of people have gone down a very dumbass path when it comes to this. So yeah, I do think Destiny's arguments are valid though. I think his positions are good. It's just that sometimes I think what he is doing is he's trying to push back against a certain group of people, so he focuses on arguments against a certain group of people a bit more. But I have a lot of trust in Destiny, and I usually expect his positions to be normal. You know, like I expect him to be a normal person. I was going to suggest Moscow. If it's burning down, we can do it. That one image of it just burning, and there's, you know the meme where like fellas were for a while making this meme with Moscow burning, and that there's a fella walking in front of it. That would be a cool flag. More people are trying to find a saint between Satan and Stalin. Everyone's trying to paint one side a saint, and they're both fucked up. Yeah, like that. Whole world is on fire. I don't think the whole world is on fire necessarily. I think you might just be noticing certain things now. Because a lot of these things were going on before already. Lots of these issues we had in a certain extent. We're still relatively peaceful right now. We may be going towards a situation where the whole world is burning, which is why, guys, you have to be really, really careful. Careful about Hungary, careful about Slovakia. Careful about their effects on European Union. If you have any way to call for European Union to stop giving them funds, do that, support that all the time. But also be very careful about what your government is doing. Plus, be very fucking careful about next year's voting for MEPs, members of European Parliament. Very fucking careful, okay? Because, like, if any of your countries put in another Claire Daly, I'm going to bully the fuck out of you. Skada is just grifting, though. Skada is just grifting, so... You would expect him to be whatever he thinks is the contra side towards popular. Oh, Putin?
Silo naša, neće svijetom komandovat paša. Ti ćeš njima i koljenom petom objasniti ko će vladat svijetom. Ti ćeš njima i koljenom petom
Very Serb.
objasniti ko će vladat svijetom.
Very Serb, okay.
Ako treba ti samo pozovi, uz tebe snom obiliću novim. 6 vijekova sad će biti našim, jer tebe se cijel svijet sad plaši.
Froggy probably has the best YouTube recommended you could imagine. It's a fucking treasure there. It's like a mix-up of all the weirdest fucking songs they could find.
Da su sada mirni, da te nema, Vladimire silni. Pokazao ti si sada svima, pravoslavna zemlja koga ima.
Can I just be bitching about this for a second though? Serbs are so fucking stupid. They keep on sucking off Russians for being Orthodox while Ukraine is an Orthodox country too. They're incredibly stupid over this. I have no goddamn idea who like started this whole thing with Russia being an Orthodox country and Ukraine not. But I see Serbs so often commenting on this, and then when you point out to them that Ukraine is also an Orthodox country, what they do is they usually ban you. They will just block you, depending on which social site you're on. They will get rid of you. It's genuinely a shock to them. It's like genuinely teach them a new fact that crumbles their entire worldview. I don't know what the fuck is going on there. Incredibly dumb country. Talking about very stupid countries. Bosnia. Bosnia is currently having a thing with their... Do we call them ultra-nationalists? We call them idiots. Bosnia is currently having a thing with Bosnian idiots, and I mean Bosnian idiots. I don't mean Serbs in Bosnia being idiots. I don't mean Croats in Bosnia being idiots. I mean Bosnian people, Muslims of Bosnia being idiots. Because what they're doing currently is they're praising Putin for inviting Hamas into Moscow. Same fucking Putin who sent volunteers to go fight with Serbs while attempting a genocide of Bosniaks. Same Putin who used the Muslim extremist myth to have an excuse to go and butcher Chechens. Same Putin under whose leadership Russia asked for Ratko Mladic to be released from prison because he's very sick and it's very, very sad. That same Bosnia right now is praising Putin because he invited Hamas into Moscow. Like Girkin was literally there. Girkin was literally there fighting with Serb paramilitaries while they were doing ethnic cleansing of Bosniaks. And you dare to now praise Russia? Stupidity, the absolute stupidity. Just, oh. The best thing is, they're having fighting because they have the idiot part of society praising Russia. They have actual war veterans because our war ended like 30 years ago, right? actual war veterans in comments on these posts being like, guys, why are you praising Russia? Russians literally fought together with Serbs. Like, the Russians, many of those Russians right now, they literally were here fighting on the side with Serbs. Why are you praising them now? And they get attacked by people. It's such a clown fucking worldview. How people say when you die, your most cherished moments flash before your eyes. A Serb sees a Russian edit flashing before his eyes. I mean, fair. Russia is now 30% Islam and the rest are no believer. Orthodox Church became literally irrelevant. Man. So they just use it as a KGB thing and that's it. Pro-Hamas. Israel offered a ceasefire in exchange for Hamas releasing all hostages and handing over the bodies of dead Israelis, but Hamas refused. I'm trying to remember, when was this? This was today, right? Was this today's 27th? When did I see the news? When did Hamas request a ceasefire? Think on my timeline. I think I'm fucking up like all the news going on currently. Man, I need to find a way to like figure out proper timeline sources on this. So I know where I am. Oh, what is this now? Estonia borders the Great Wall of China? Ah, fuck. Okay.
Eestist vägev ilmariik on saanud, igal pool ta leiab toetajaid. Eesti riik käib vastu Hiina.
Okay, fair.
Venemaa on väike osariik. Varsti juhib Pätsme riigi tüüri.
Oh, because I remember some news about Hamas calling for a ceasefire and then people mocking them for it.
Eesti meeste teod on võimsalt suured. Meie poisid vahvad tugevad.
Yes! Beat up everyone. Okay, that's fair. That's a good song.
Hollywoodis Eesti kraade blikkavad, Eesti pätid Viini patareis, korotše. Rooma paavst tuleb kaema Eesti hiisi, tõstab taara poole palves käed. Lepingud ja aktid kortsutame, paktid ära ahju pillume. Eesti maad kui mõrsjat armastame, aga kõiki teisi kolgime. Käib perse saa, suur Venemaa, lase Eesti rahval elada. Käib perse saa, suur Venemaa, no lase Eesti rahval elada.
Nice. I wish Estonians had this as their main song. Anthem. Wish they used it as an anthem. A month ago, I'd read anything and believe it. Now I check the source, the nation of the source, the political opinions of the founders. Yeah, it's even worse than when it came. But I think there's the difference between Israel-Palestine and Russia's invasion on Ukraine is that, like, from the start we knew Russians were unreliable, right? So at least to some point you could be like, okay, this source comes from a Russian, they're lying. And then you needed to, we were also like closer to things, closer to it. So you needed to input certain analysis. But you kind of just, I think, intuitively knew most of it, right? Like you knew, for example, oh, is Merkel saying something? She likes Russians a lot. You know, like which country is saying something? I know whose side they are on. I know who they want to be supporting. But when it comes to Israel Palestine, like I read a source and the source tells me nothing, I have to go out of my way to figure out what it is because I've never heard of these sources. It's not the same thing as, you know, people being like, hi, Ukraine actually has bioweapon labs, says the Spiegel newspaper. And you're like, yeah, of course. It's so much different now because I don't know these newspapers. I don't know whose side they are on. I don't know who they are supporting. I don't know what to take seriously and what to not take seriously. It has pushed me into a situation where I'm just following Reuters and that's it. I'm not even daring to follow anything else. If I see some news, I go to Reuters, I check what Reuters is saying. If Reuters is not saying it, I'm like, okay, no, waiting, no. I'm waiting for Reuters to say it because I have no idea where to find a proper source. They won't let us live in peace, so I'll beat them up. Golden Maybar in front of his applauding cat. Oh, that's it. Wait, I have to show you a video. You have to see a video. You have to see a video. You have to see something. You have to see a video. You have to see. You have to see. You have to see what we did, okay? If I give some attention to Croatia. Give some attention to Croatia. Because we matter. Let me show you this. This is what we did a few days ago. We're still having public debates over why it happened. This is our Prime Minister. This is a club that goes on. Some people claim 2 hours. Like the fact that he's scrolling on his phone is my favorite thing about this. The man just sits after the speech and he's like, what's going on Instagram? And everyone else is fucking clapping. And the way they look around like, is he watching? No? Why are we still clapping? It's kind of cringe at this point. I love it. I love it. Fucking clowns. You know what's even better? You know what's even better? When they were doing the clapping, I don't know, there's a video of this. There isn't. After they do the clapping, after they were finished with their clapping, an opposition person spoke. And opposition politicians took their pens and hit them on the table. It was like a parody of clapping, right? And after that, the Senate, the Sabor of Croatia has issued a statement saying that certain desks of politicians have been damaged and that they will probably have to pay for reparations of these desks, and they listed out the opposition politicians. Because they use their pens to bang on the table and supposedly this damaged them. Just like clowns, fucking clowns. These people are leading our country. These people are fucking leading us to wherever we are supposed to go, and we're apparently supposed to go to trash. The previous calls for ceasefire were rejected by the IDF. So I don't know about that statement. Yeah, I was very, very confused on that one. Though I could see IDF refusing the ceasefire because they would see it as an attempt to stage another attack, right? Like ceasefire, you know, there's always a possibility of it being a very, very Russian thing in which they're like, hey guys, let's do a ceasefire, and then you're like, oh, okay, let's do a ceasefire so we can rest for a bit and do some negotiations, and then the Russian comes in and stabs you from the back. So I think Israel might be fearing that, and I would figure Hamas might also be fearing that. I feel they both have very valid fears to fear that. So it seems, I don't think it's entirely outright unexpected that they have refused it. Trending about Putin. Putin is trending because people are saying that he died. By the way, guys, don't fucking trust the idea he died. What the hell is wrong? I've seen, at first it was a joke. Okay, I've seen people being like, oh, imagine if he dies. Like, based, okay? I know. But, dude, are people actually falling for it at this point? Because I've seen them asking under, like, under posts of Russian, what's the word? Under posts of Russian propagandists, they'll be like, ha ha ha, how's Putin doing? Expecting to hear a response that he died or whatever, but like, no. No. He's alright. He's not dead. Claiming he's dead, claiming he's sick even, is a part of Russian propaganda. The entire thing of claiming that he is sick and he is close to his deathbed, that's a part of Russian propaganda. Do not trust it. It is meant to put you in a position where you believe that the man is gonna croak soon, because a lot of people believe that the second that man starts rotting, Russia will start to fix itself. It's pushing you into this illusion of an easy way out of this war. There's no easy way out of this war, okay? We gotta keep on funding, we gotta keep on sending aid, we gotta keep on sending weapons, and Russians must be defeated. That is the only way to solve this. But I think the illusion of like Putin being very, very low at health is creating this idea in some people's minds that, hey, maybe we don't need to send weapons so desperately, maybe we don't need to send aid so desperately. Like maybe Putin just dies and Russia gets better. It will not. It will never get better. If Putin dies, there's plenty of people ready to replace him, and all of them are equally the same as he is. There's not going to be any sort of a change happening. Calling that Putin at 3 a.m. He picks up the phone and it just fart sounds because he's shitting himself again. Could do that. Ceasefire for Israel while Hamas still launching bombs wouldn't be right. I mean, the point of ceasefire is that like both should be doing the ceasefire. But yeah, both sides have good reasons to not trust the other side to do it. So it seems like an unrealistic option. It's kind of... It's not really going to happen, is it? I don't know. Super airstrike in Gaza going on? Holy shit. Oh shit, yeah, that's true. King Jong died during COVID. That is true, that is true. I don't remember who came out of it. Oh wait, Israeli authorities cut off all landline, cellular and internet communication with Gaza? That's what I'm seeing. Not a single phone in Gaza can be reached right now. Israel completely cut off all communications. No internet, no landlines. This is a total blackout. And there are reports of very heavy bombardment, particularly in the north. Possible. There's conversations about a possible ground incursion. Not sure how much I see that happen. I know it's threatened, right? But like, do we think? Outgoing tank fire, as well as unusual, intense and sustained military activity? Wait, do we think they actually went in with the military? I know they were preparing for it, but I thought, didn't they say they're going to do it later? Okay, well, I guess. that was on me for trusting it. But I was under the assumption that they're not planning to do it this quickly. But, you know. There has been some progress though. European Union leaders stopped short of calling for a ceasefire, appealing for humanitarian pauses to provide aid. Top UN official called current humanitarian aid levels in Gaza nothing more than crumbs. There's something quite interesting about UN having to watch all of this happen when it's the, organization that's supposed to be stopping shit like this from happening. Part of me hopes that they are figuring out how worthless they are. Still using 2G. I mean, maybe it works the best. They don't want to get cancer. 5G gives you cancer. I heard it from my Facebook. Can't have them pesky Palestinians recording anything and putting it on the internet. Mando. European Union stance on Israel. I think European Union is doing the thing with how to say it. I see why they would be wanting to support Israel's right to defend itself, because it was a victim of a terrorist attack. I can see why they would be supporting the idea of Israel attacking Hamas, which has been, recognized by a terrorist organization. But at the same time, they're interesting when it comes to recognizing what Israel has been calling to do. So, Meanwhile, India is buying Russian oil. We introduced caps on it though, so that's good. I wish they were paying even less cash money to it, but Western European countries don't even recognize Palestine. Oh, that's true. That's true. Ukraine does. Ukraine has been based. Ukraine has been kind of based on it, which is why it's even weirder to see Palestinian supporters, being pro-Russia, which throughout its history has been quite open to butchering Muslims and to ethnically cleansing them and to trying to Russify them. Kind of weird they seem to be pro-Russian rather than pro-Ukraine when Ukraine has been supporting Palestinian territorial integrity. But when it comes to Western Europe, Western Europe has been morally interesting for quite a long time. I think Croatia itself is also supportive of Israel, right? But Western Europe overall, interesting views. Opinion doesn't want to lose in the court of public opinion. I feel the public opinion is chaos though. But also we do have problems with it's kind of it would not be a good look for European states to fall close to anti-Semitism. And a lot of pro-Palestinian sentiment seems to be at the same time quite anti-Semitic. At the same time, a lot of pro-Israeli content seems to be quite Islamophobic. So you have a problem on both sides. I think they're just kind of trying to avoid reaching any strongly problematic grounds. Israel is recognized by European Union. Palestine is not. Adam, that too. Western European Union has a trend of declaring people subhuman. First they did the Jews, now it's Palestinians. Yeah, I can see that. Knights were killing humans. It's bad according to Jesus. So the church was like, it's okay, Arabs aren't human. Were they also like, yeah, if you die fighting for the church, God's gonna love you, so like it doesn't count. Taylor Swift. We actually tried to employ Swifties to be supporting NAFO. Kind of worked. got a couple of them on our side. Countries that have recognized the state of Palestine, countries that have not recognized it. Yeah, Croatia did not, right? Yeah, look at us being the border. Look at us right here, being the border fucking area. We're not doing too well, my man. We're doing interestingly on it. Though to be fair, Croatian popular opinion, and I do understand Croatian popular opinion, is based on the fact that Israelis were given the land by the British. They had the right to the land because it was British-owned land. And which declaration? They signed a declaration promising Jews their own state. So in a way, everything was, done right in a way by the paperwork. It's not like the land was stolen outright. It was given to the British after World War I. It was their land after the Ottoman Empire broke apart. The Croatian view is that after Israel became independent, it got attacked by Arab states and it managed to defend itself. And because of this, Croatia sees a mirror of Croatian fight for independence and being allowed to exist as Israelis fight for independence and being allowed to exist. This is very similar to how Zelensky at one point made a comment on how he wants Ukraine to be like Israel. That's what he was referring to. He was referring to the fact that when Israel tried to be independent, this was, I think, just when the British left. When Israel wanted to be independent, it got attacked. And it managed to survive. It managed to defend itself. It's seen as a country which was attacked by plenty other powers who wanted it to not exist, and it still managed to overpower them. So it's seen as kind of, a little story of hope for countries which are now trying to defend itself, and also countries whose big part of national memory is their fight to defend themselves. So I see why we support them. I see why we are on Israel's side. Oh yeah, but also Israel is a Jewish state. I think that regardless of whether they allow Arabs or not, it being a Jewish state still carries, certain benefits for Jewish people in it and certain problems for non-Jewish people in it. And it's not like it's going to become a secular state anytime soon. It's not like they are really interested in that, are they? And, Palestine is very similar to that. When you see what Hamas has in their charter and what their motivations are, it's also very much based on religious grounds. You basically have two strongly ethno-religious groups attempting to create a state which is not secular in any sort of a way. Yeah. Of course, Jews in Israel hope they will stay a majority. Oh, yeah, definitely. It's just that they want it to be a Jewish state overall, so that's kind of an interesting thing. They started cleaning out the local Palestinians. So the Arab League rejected the portion plan. It allotted like 60% of the land to 3% of the population. And Israelis had an army. Arabs have a ragtag militia. Oh yeah, that too. They still, they were attacked by basically a coalition. But yeah, it is true. There's a big conversation also about the fact that when Brits got the land, with their attempt to redraw the borders, with their attempt to create nations basically in the first place, they have brought a European view of a nation. They pushed the European view of a nation into the situation, right? They kind of just went in and created fucking chaos that no one was really prepared for. So we kind of messed it up. We kind of fucked it up. So at the same time, it was British land. It was British land. I do see the argument that it was their land and they had the right to promise the land to Jews. And especially as World War II was ongoing, they had the right to help Jews get to safety by going to Israel. It was like, so I understand it. Yeah, many conversations to be had already, definitely. It always reminds me of Vlad Vexel saying that if you can describe your views on Israel-Palestine situation, if you can describe your views on it in less than 5 minutes, your views are probably oversimplified. You probably don't understand the entire situation. I understand that. Russia is well equivalent to the Jews. Oh, they right now have a Jewish republic. It has 1% Jews. So yeah. Wealthy and middle-class Palestinians very quickly fled their homes instead of fighting. But I mean, I understand people choosing to live. I wouldn't condemn a nation to not existing because they had an amount of people choosing to escape rather than die. USSR had the right to kick out Circassians because it was USSR land back then. I think what you are implying is that the Brits attempted a genocide of Palestinians? Of Arabs in the land, technically. I'm not really sure I would say the Brits attempted a genocide of them. I'm not really sure I would see the Circassian genocide as similar to Brits promising Jews that they can have part of their land. Not sure. Don't see Palestinians as Arabs. Wait, are they not? I'm pretty sure they are. Brits are the ones to blame for this. Yeah, it was an interesting situation to play with so carelessly, right? They should have put a lot more effort in it. They really didn't. They really didn't, and then they ran away. So it's like there's plenty of ways this could have been fixed, but we didn't, and now we are in the situation we are in big part, yeah, because of our fault. Though also I do think it's very important to mention that again, Europeans were pieces of shit. Europeans were absolute pieces of shit towards Jewish people for a very long time. I can't really blame the Brits for promising them a land of their own, especially the one that, they believe has been promised to them according to their religion. Can't really blame British people for being like, yeah, guys, maybe you really do deserve a place where you can feel safe. Can't really blame the Brits for it. can't really be against it. Though also at the same time, there's the other side of this conversation, which is that by promising them land so far away, what Europe was trying to do was just getting rid of Jewish people. There's this interesting situation with AfD in Germany, for example. AfD, the Hitler Particle Party. They're quite okay with the state of Israel existing. They're quite supportive of it. Because being supportive of it and having the state of Israel existing means that they can just, encourage Jews from Europe to go there. It helps their anti-Semitism in a way. So, yeah. Has anyone else just given up on the promised land? No. I don't know if there is a solution. One state solution is not gonna work. Two-state solution, I also believe, is not going to work. I saw someone recently advocating for a three-state solution, which was basically tiny part for Palestinian state, tiny part for Jewish state of Israel, and then the rest like is sort of a secular state. So there's just a bunch of ideas. I don't know if any of them are gonna work, but there's been a bunch of ideas. Let's just make random borders that have no thought, and then we'll leave. Yeah, it's like... to be true, yeah, the British borders were also very stupid looking. British borders were like dumb. Why show guilt onto Palestinians? I mean, make a Jewish-only state in Germany. Because Jews believe they were promised land in, where the current state of Israel is. But also because if we follow the theory that Europeans promised Jews land in Israel because they wanted to get rid of Jewish people from Europe and wanted to encourage them to move away from Europe, of course you wouldn't instead encourage them to stay in Germany. You would go against the values of European anti-Semites. True state solution, ignore the problem until it goes away. That too. Our moderate right supports Israel. Our far right won't recognize Israel's existence. Oh, so they support Palestine? There's something quite impressive about that to me. We're still having debates here on our far right, because on one hand, a lot of them are. When I say far right, I mean like the fringe of society that is incredibly stupid, right? So fringe of society with zero brain inside of them, idiots. But they're having fights because like one part of them hates Israel because Israel is supported by the West and they hate everything Western. So they hate Israel and they support Russia. But the other part of the far right doesn't claim the first group because hating Israel means supporting Palestine and supporting Palestine means supporting Muslims. So you're having fights very often between these people. I used to trying to be more into Croatian political circles because we're having like super election year next year. So I'm trying to get closer to them. And it's so interesting to see them fight over this because they can't figure out if they hate Jews and the West or if they hate Muslims more. They're genuinely like fighting. They divided the land by percentage of people living there, 20% to Jews, rest to Arabs. They even tried to respect the regions where most people of one religion live and gave both access to the holy cities. UN even voted for it. I think the reason to blame the Brits is because the Brits didn't see the plan put to action. I think that's kinda, at least that's the way I'm seeing the problem, right? Like, it's not just about them drawing the borders. It's about them not making sure that people within these borders are accepting the fact that these borders have been drawn. So, yeah, I do think that because they knew that Arabs didn't accept the two-state solution, I do think that they should have kept the presence until they figured out either like to exchange certain parts of drawing the borders or just fucking bully people into respecting them. But they had a chance to have their presence there and they didn't. And, I feel if they kept the presence there, we can do the whole like laughable thing with them being peacekeepers. But I don't believe it would be in today's situation if they actually kept control for at least few decades more until they were sure that the situation was relatively stable, right? Actually support that. I support giving land to Narwans. I'm okay with that. Brits tried to control the situation, but it was impossible. I think that when you compare the strength of the Brits, I think they didn't really attempt strong enough. Like, I think they had a way. I think they had a chance to control it. I just don't really think they did it quite well, to be honest. I don't really think they were doing it that nicely. I think there were a lot of chances to have diplomatic relations with other Arab countries at the time. I think a lot of this could have been stopped just by Brits being a bit more involved. That's how I'm seeing it. Now, of course, it's not fully their fault, but still. Important to mention the influence, I think. Jewish space colony. Hey! The strongest anti-Semite around. You don't want to just kick them out of the continent. You want to kick them out of the planet. Palestinians, they also made references to a Palestinian society, Palestinian nation, the Palestinian diaspora. Oh fuck, I would need to look into that. Brits started to deport some Jewish people from Palestine because Arabs said too many were immigrating there. And then some Jewish terrorists blew up the deportation ship. Holy fucking shit. Man, holy shit. But also, like, deporting them to where? Bringing them back? Oh. 85% of local news were opposed to Zionism, according to survey from 1920s. By local news, I mean the ones who were Palestinian. Could see that at the time, though. Yeah, I don't think they were asked too much. Kanye was cancelled months ago, and now same people that cancelled him are repeating some of his crazy claims in support of Palestine. It's the danger of people not recognizing fascism when it presents itself in a way that they see as needed is really, really real. Like, I don't know, who was it that said that the next time Europe falls into fascism, it's going to be because fascism is going to present itself as anti-fascism. Basically, that's it. It's like, people who are super supportive of nations fighting for liberation, and then they can't voice their support for Ukraine because they support Russia. It's like you're not really seeing, you don't know what fighting for liberation means. You don't know what fighting Nazis means. Who do you think were Nazis? Who do you think are Nazis in this situation? The nation doing the invasion, doing the ethnic cleansing, or the nation staying in their territory and defending themselves from the ethnic cleansing? Like, who do you think are the real Nazis in this situation? Why is it a hard question to answer? But it's one danger, because fascism uses this element of populism in it, and it's quite easy to get dumbasses following it blindly around. Especially then again when it comes to internet people, you have to constantly keep in mind that internet people are quite stupid. Do not trust the internet people, me included, okay? Me fucking included. Do not trust the internet people. Okay, the same way we talked about this when we started the stream, the same way that woke people are a dramatic imagination of Twitter users, that same way internet people are just stupid about everything. They're just dumbasses about everything. No. You could even say Jews go to Brazil because they got less valuable land. They got less land because the locals would sell them any other kind of land, so the Israeli state also included a lot of Palestinian majority lands. Wait, they wouldn't sell them any other kind of land, but they did sell them some kinds of land, which were less valuable, but were sold to them. Can't trust even Vicky. No, you have to fact check me. You have to fact check me whenever we talk about something. Just always fact check me. There are so many people holding like very, very opposing views on this thing. Always fact check. Always fact check people you are following. Always make sure to ask questions to ensure that their views are stable. Every single conversation, make sure you are asking questions to ensure the fact that their views are stable and that they are not just grifting, that they are not just being contrarians, okay? Like, if you follow people who are super pro-Palestine and also super pro-Russia, they cannot have stable views. They cannot have stable views, right? That there can't be. There's no way to have stable, proper views and to be supporting both countries. Just simply doesn't work. Vicky and Hassan's child will achieve peace in the Middle East. Man. I don't even know if I want to be like fully offended at the thing that you think my genes are able to do that. History of Palestine. Oh no, we're looking at which countries have recognized the state of Palestine. That's what we looked into. It's about which countries have accepted, which countries have recognized the state of Palestine only. Which is like you can see the map here. We're mostly talking about European people's view on things, so you can see how we're here, Croatia, and we are the cutoff point between Europe, which does not recognize Palestine, and Europe, which does. So I thought that was kind of interesting. They had shit lands, like swamps, but they had the money and technology to fix it. Ah, okay, I see that. Reminds me of the international community meme. Oh, if we think of the same one, I see it. Malta? Yeah. I mean, impressive, isn't it? Impressive. That was kind of impressed by some of these countries. I'm kind of interested. I expected Slovenia would. I don't know. I expected Slovenia would. I don't know if that's a weird thing, but that's. You did not know, no. Really want to dive into Israel Palestine? Yeah, like I know the basics. And to do any sort of a huge brain conversation, I would need to do a lot more research, but I'm just. Man. Vatican Trill, bro. Hey, look. At least they're doing something, are they not? What's wrong with layers? Why are you complaining about layers? What did they do to you? Map of countries that recognize Israel. Wait. International recognition of Israel. You have countries that recognize Israel, countries that have suspended relations, countries that have withdrawn recognition. Okay. Wait, what is this part? What is... State countries that recognize it, countries that have never recognized it. So why is it like Strappy? I haven't seen Strappy. Haven't really seen Strappy in the meaning part. But okay, fair enough. But there's a lot of countries that recognize both. Now that I think about it, why? Or is there a lot of them that recognize both? What is this? spokesman of the Israel Defense Forces reported that in continuation of the offensive activity that we have conducted in recent days, this evening the ground forces are expanding their ground activity. Well, you guys, expect to see lots of interesting news these days. Also, you know what I'm telling you? This weekend, don't use Twitter. Can we just agree on that? Can we agree on that? This weekend, do not use Twitter. If you're using it, use it for DMs. Use it for like actual friends things. Don't use it to look up news. Because the amount of shit that is going to be coming out this weekend is going to be wild. Yeah, only this weekend. Then there's probably going to be some time for at least some type of investigations to happen on certain events. But like, ooh. Oh man, I expect to see some horrible shit. I expect to see some horrible misinformation. I'm gonna try not to be using this goddamn hell site for at least like a day or two. Don't trust anything you read. Whatever you see on Twitter, don't. Just, it's a lie. Hey, how's Blue Sky on this? How's Blue Sky on this conversation? Haven't been there in like 2 days. Oh no, Hassan is going to have the time of his life. Man. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Gonna buy a new mansion or something. People on TikTok, on Blue Sky have started fighting about TikTok. So I guess as we get more users, it's getting more interesting. Vatican is preparing for the next crusade. I wouldn't expect Vatican to do anything useful anytime soon. I expect Vatican to be a pussy-ass part of the world forever. Europe official site leaving Twitter and being more present on Mastodon. I have not figured out how to use Mastodon at all, so I hope they don't do it. I hope we protest against it. I hope we make that switch illegal. I don't know how to use Mastodon. I haven't figured it out. I got it. And then I deleted it. Maybe I should get it again. Maybe it's different now, or maybe there's more people in it, so it's easier to use. But I got it and I was like, what do I do here? What am I even attempting to do here? What's the point? I clicked on my notifications. Okay, fair. Get Jerusalem and Goldstone great again? Nah. They're already switching? European Commission also has an account on Mastodon. Oh, some people are using it. Oh, it doesn't have 0 likes. It actually has some. Impressive. What's this? Oh, digital. When was this posted? 10 hours ago? Amazon, LinkedIn, TikTok, Pinterest, Snapchat, Zalando, and Bing. These are the initial 7 platforms to have released the first ever transparency reports under the Digital Service Act. The remaining platforms are expected to publish their reports by 6 November. What do you think Twitter is gonna give? What do you think Twitter's gonna give? Are we expecting to see Twitter banned in European Union around 6th of November? Come on. I'm taking it as a birthday present. My birthday is nearby. I'm taking it as a present for me. Full scale Azerbaijan and Armenia. No. We already got some sort of peace there. I mean, not really, but I don't think anything dramatic will happen on that front anytime soon, or at least we haven't seen news of something like that happening, right? Maybe Russia will support Armenia when they aren't busy elsewhere. Bro, Bro, Russia always has people to butcher. Russia always has people to butcher. They're going to be okay. Israeli Union discussing cleaning out all Palestinians from Gaza. What the minister described in an interview. I think I read the same thing, but I read a thread on it on Twitter. I think I read the same thing, but on Twitter. That was I'm one of those things where like you're not shocked, but you're like, I would have expected this thing exists, and now that it's out in the public, hope people will learn. What is this? You warns Elon Musk. Okay, this is about this. This is about it. Oh, Breton, wait, I saw their little exchange on Twitter. I saw their little exchange to Twitter, and after this, Elon Musk, the idiot of our time, Elon Musk goes, well, actually, guys, can you tell me what exactly Twitter did to break the rules? And he gets an answer, which is, dude, you need to look into your calls for violence, and you need to look into your false news. Those are like two big problematic parts that you need to look into. And the responses to that were like, can't you give him links? Can't you give him links to posts calling for violence? Can't you give him links to posts presenting false news? Why don't you give him links so he knows which posts are doing it? Just Elon defenders have like half a brain in their stupid ass useless skull, and they only use it to simp for that piece of shit. It misfires. Oh, the European Union's recent warnings are poorly executed come before the Commission is prepared to enforce them. I see that. So like they warn the website that they are breaking the rules, but they have no way to bit slap the website in question. So it's like, Twitter, you're spreading around fake news, and Twitter goes, what you gonna do about it? And we're going to do nothing about it. He drastically overreached given the nascent DSA's lack of structure. The SA won't fully take effect until February 2024. Conflict between Israel and Hamas is forcing European Union to try to figure out how to have a test run of the DSA before they are really ready. While there is a lot that Europe can learn from this conflict and how to succeed at rewriting the rules of the internet, it needs to be really careful about not allowing whatever happens in this kind of crisis moment to become the default law. Digital rights advocacy group said it was concerned about how the letters interpreted the DSA, saying they established a false equivalence between the DSA's treatment of illegal content versus disinformation. The DSA lacks provisions for implementing deadlines for content removals, under which platforms need to reply to notifications of illegal content. However, Breton's letter imposed tight timelines. In some cases, Breton demanded platforms revert with answers within 24 hours. Damn. Man. Okay, nice. I can't even hate that. Full support to the man. Breton's letters also demanded Meta and X engage with law enforcement authorities and Europol, saying they do so without specifying serious crimes occurring in European Union that would provide sufficient legal and procedural ground for such a request. I don't know, part of me really wants that we have a strong response, because I want to have a way to quickly enforce these rules. I wish we had a way to quickly scare them into respecting the guidelines, but also I understand what they mean by this being a problem. What it sounds like is they want to selectively ban some voices while Israeli propaganda runs rampant. I think that when it comes to pro-Palestinian propaganda, the most I have seen is coming from pro-Russian accounts, which have been using videos of Syria and lying about them being videos of Gaza. And I do think that should be condemned. I do think that should be banned. I think it's a horrible thing. We're seeing Assad supporters denying Assad crimes and then using videos of Assad crimes to claim that this happened in Gaza, and it didn't. It happened in Syria. So I'm okay with those people being banned, definitely. I don't know if Israel is doing that, how would I say it, chaos level of misinformation, but also I do think it's mostly coming from the pro-Russian band rather than, you know, specifically Palestinians. Ooh. Oh no, the grannies. Oh, I saw... I saw this when I was scrolling through Twitter before, and I was like, no. Israel says it recognizes Gaza and the West Bank. Israel basically says that they agree with the two-state solution. Now, how much they actually agree with it is an interesting thing to question. It's kind of like how Hamas says that they would agree with the borders, you know, being created for the ceasefire, but then at the same time their charter says that they are fighting against the Zionist project and they refuse to even recognize Israel as a state. It's like they like pretending that that there's a possibility to solve this in a way we would possibly prefer, which would be creating more secular states, or one of them.
Предлагаем выкупить несколько Бермудских островов, чтобы там у нас были санатории, профилактории.
Do we think they're doing a meme? Do we think they're doing a meme? Do we think this is a meme? I kind of think this is a meme. I kind of think they're doing this to make fun of themselves. Are they self-aware enough for this?
Отдыхать, и мы отряды Путина туда с удовольствием поедем, потому что там круглогодичная температура 28-26 градусов. Нас это устраивает. А у нас на Кубани мы можем только отдыхать в летний период. Можем предложить жителям этих островов референдум. Может быть, они не согласятся быть частью нашей
Doesn't
страны.
it feel like a parody?
И все у нас будет здорово.
Я бы с удовольствием съездила на Бермудские острова и отдохнула в круглогодичном теплом климате.
Я думаю, что референдум будет более удачное решение. Народ, который там живет, они очень, думаю, близкие нам и поддержат эту идею.
Многие люди боятся Бермудский треугольник, потому что много было литературы о том, как там тяжело жить. Но я думаю, что все будет хорошо, наши люди туда придут и будет все прекрасно. Россия все победит.
Это острова далеко от России, но тем не менее, я бы туда поехала, как многие наши граждане.
Also, don't overestimate Russian knowledge of geography.
Будет все прекрасно, климат, дружелюбный народ, в общем, все замечательно будет.
Бермудами находится Куба. Все знают, насколько она гостеприимна. И мы все с удовольствием поедем и на Кубу, и поставят потом базы военные наши. И все будет прекрасно, все будут довольны. Никто ничего не будет бояться. И мы заживем все вместе, дружно.
Бермуды — это хорошо. Наша страна считается и северная, а в Бермудах у нас будет тепло, сухо, и мы все поедем туда отдыхать.
С удовольствием поехали на Бермудские острова. Я бы взяла всю свою семью, и внучку, и внука, и мужа, и с удовольствием бы отдыхали. Там гостиницы, чтобы наши были, чтобы на русском языке все говорили. И мы, конечно, добьемся и победим.
It almost feels like I was thinking about this last few days about like Russian propaganda because the news of Putin dying, I genuinely think they intentionally spread this to create this illusion of an easy way out of this war. So you would be less strongly lobbying for more aid to Ukraine. This feels like a type of propaganda on its own. Like, would they genuinely be stupid enough to make this and believe it's gonna work? They wouldn't. But they wouldn't. But also, are these not the grannies making same silly little videos before too? They constantly have these videos of grannies just making the dumbest possible requests. Thank yous. It pays to be a grifter these days. I mean, internet has always been a fertile ground for grifters. And currently the grifting position is, supporting Russia. It's a popular thing right now. You wanna get money from idiots? You go and suck off Putin a little tiny bit. It works. It is a sad thing, but I think we can take pride in the fact that these people will never actually change anything in society and they will stay online where they are being accepted. So luckily, as long as you are properly engaged online, engaged offline, and as long as you are properly engaged in your country's politics, properly engaged in voting, you will not be in danger of being overrun by them. Yes, people creating propaganda that Putin died did it to assist the Russian side of the war. Yes, I fully believe in that. There is this one interesting analysis of the Western cowardice when responding to the war. And the idea is that responding to the war too strongly, so if we help Ukraine too strongly, then we are going to get too influenced in what is going to happen when Ukraine wins, which is very likely going to be the crumbling of the entire state of Russia. We do not want to see the crumbling of the entire state of Russia. When I say we, I mean like Western leaders. I don't mean me specifically, because I couldn't give less of a shit. But the Western leaders do not want to see the crumbling of the state of Russia. When Yugoslavia crumbled, what we saw was a lot of conflict, what we saw were wars, what we saw were genocide attempts. No one really wants to be causing that all over again on a much bigger territory. So no one really wants to see Russia crumble, and no one really wants to get too involved in creating a situation with Russia crumbling. One of the reasons why our leaders have been quite cowardly with doing anything in this war is because partially they believe in the possibility of an easy way out. This is also not just propaganda about Putin possibly dying, Putin being of low health and possibly dying, but also whenever you get those news which are like, look at Russian people, they are rising up against Putin. Look at Russian people finally waking up. Look at all of these Russian soldiers surrendering to Ukrainians. All of that is basically the same shit. It's giving you an illusion that there's an easy way out of this war. It's creating an illusion that you don't have to give so many weapons. You don't have to give so much aid to Ukraine. You don't have to get so much involved. Because the situation is going to get fixed without needing your input. Either in Russians rebelling against the Russian government on their own, or with Putin dying, and when he dies, there's this belief that he is just going to stop. The war is going to stop, the war is going to go down, because Putin is the one driving this whole war forward. Both of these options are very, very unlikely, but still they make you less active, and they make you less engaged in wanting to help Ukraine win. Because you believe that rather than being engaged in the victory, you could just see it happen without you needing to be too much into it. So when Russia, as a result, falls into chaos, it will not be your fault. There's big problems of like, if Russia starts crumbling, there's likely going to be a lot of refugees. There's likely to be going a lot of new states which will be seeking new alliances, and we will likely need to be helping some of these new states. There's going to be fights of power because like China, for example, claims certain Russian regions. If these Russian regions try to leave Russia, what happens then? Are we going to see these two sides possibly entering some sort of a conflict? Are we going to see China getting more power? There's a lot of problems that could arise from Russia crumbling, and lots of our leaders are a bit panicky about getting too involved with that. So yeah. Tankies are just a very, very loud minority. Yeah, that too. Too bad they are around in the first place, though. I mean, it's such a stupid-ass fucking mindset to have, isn't it? Just a horrible, dehumanizing mindset to be having in the first place. And it's still here. And not only is it here, we are presenting them as some sort of fighters for nations seeking liberation. And then they go and support fucking Russia. And fucking USSR. I don't even know which one is the worse. Russia will not crumble. That, I see that. There's a possibility of conflict. There's definitely going to be political conflict in Russia. If it goes in the direction of Balkanization, which is a possibility if Russia loses this war. I don't think it's a big possibility. I do agree with you there. I do think Russians are mostly passive. I do think they're passive. I think they're apolitical. I do not believe they would attempt... I don't believe people from republics would attempt to leave Russia, and I definitely don't believe Moscows are going to create a situation where, you know, Russia is going to be just them. So definitely seems very unlikely, but I think because, again, of Balkanization that happened as a result of Yugoslavia crumbling, I understand why Western leaders might be under this delusion. It's like, you know, when USSR fell, there were not really any huge wars. It's not like Russia went to war with Ukraine then or whatever, but they did have periphery wars, like Armenia, Azerbaijan, for example. And it kept on going until now. It's still ongoing, right? If Russia were to crumble, you would see something like that continuing, and then we would also be holding a certain level of responsibility for it. Given the example of the coup in the 90s, and how eagerly civilians welcomed Wagner when they were heading towards Moscow, it looks to me the Russian public is ready to just go along with whatever. Somebody could say, I'm in charge now, and they'd be like, fine. Yeah, I agree with that, definitely, I agree with that. I think don't know if I want to say problem with that. I think it's a realistic view. I think that when it comes to other politicians analyzing the possibility of Russia crumbling, they have to look at all the possibilities, you know. And it does create a possibility of like warlords being propped up in different republics, right? And them being like, hey guys, I'm leading now. And Russian public being like, yay, you know. Someone like Prigozhin happens, tries to separate his republic from the rest of them. People from the republic would likely follow. They would likely follow. But also, again, you have the possibility of them just staying passive because it is Russians. Like they were welcoming Wagner when it was heading towards Moscow. But then when days later Putin said that Wagner coup never happened, you remember those times? You remember those times when coup happened? The coup attempt happened and everyone was fucking panicking, and then a few days later Putin was like, oh yeah, this was never a thing. This was never a thing. And then there were people being like, oh yeah, this was actually planned. This was planned. Prigozhin was just playing around. Prigozhin was playing along with Putin to figure out who the moles in the government are, and everyone followed that story. But they were just like very, very quick to switch. So basically what I'm trying to say is I don't even know if they ever went with Wagner properly. I don't even know if they welcomed them properly or if they just saw it as like, fun little thing happening now, and then I just stay neutral, and then a fun little thing is happening next, and I just kind of, you know, exist. He's actually dead and doesn't want war. What we're seeing is an evil AI using his body. Well, AI is then on some kind of shitty settings because he seems to be very dumb. don't think counterattack is putting a dent in Russian defenses. I do think that a big thing is chasing away the Russian Black Sea Fleet, because it was used to launch a lot of attacks on Ukrainian soil. Chasing away the Russian Black Sea Fleet was a huge thing. So I definitely believe that is one victory by Ukrainians that is being undeservingly ignored. Like it was a big thing. It was a huge thing. But also, I do think that we expected similar types of comments from the start of this counteroffensive, because if you remember, we talked about this like a few months ago, before the counteroffensive even started, but about how if there's no lines on the map being drawn around, if there's no lines on a map being changed, people will think nothing happened. So, for example, you don't see the Black Sea Fleet getting chased away. You don't see that as a line on the map. So because you don't see it as a line on the map, people just don't really recognize it even happened. A lot of partisan action in occupied areas, a lot of destruction of Russian logistics. You don't see that as a line on a map either. So it's not being counted, but I still think it was a success. I still think it was, an important thing to talk about. So that's kind of how I'm seeing this. That is how I'm seeing this. Oh, but also the thing with the counteroffensive, I do find that interesting too. I don't really know if it ended. I don't know how we are seeing this situation, but I get the impression a lot of people are expecting some sort of a lull in action right now, and I don't know where that is coming from. Like I'm not sure about that. Russia is neither running out of men or material, like they keep pumping in both. I do think that we can't, like from the state of the front lines, I don't think we can exactly know how they are doing with either. With men, I'm definitely certain that they are doing okay. With men, I'm definitely certain they're doing GG. Now, when it comes to equipment, I do think a problem with that is, the fact that we mostly know about their equipment from their own sources, which is an interesting type of a situation. But again, I definitely don't think that Russia is in a state close to defeat, basically. I do think we should be doing a lot more in sending more aid to help Ukraine win this. The situation definitely isn't easy, and we shouldn't pretend that it is. Hey, yo, how are you doing? More than enough to sustain losses? True, but consider the possibility that Russian air defense starts working, actually. Atacms resulted in 20 lost. They made like 100 plus in 2022. Yeah, I do think though the conversation about that is, there's an interesting, how to say this, analysis level needed for their equipment. That again, the reports are coming from Russia itself. But what we have seen, for example, is tanks which have been stripped of most of their equipment. Shit like that. They have been cannibalizing certain equipment to make something else that they needed or whatever. So I do think that I do think the situation is very muddy, and in the same way as, you know, in other current breaking news, I don't think you should blindly trust anything, but I do think that we should be doing as much as we can to help. I think Thompson is doing a very objective job of it. Yeah, I was trying to think that he is being an objectively positive source of information. Does that make sense? Like, he's choosing to just be positive, and he's choosing to present to you news that sound well. So in that way, it's kind of dishonest, but, you know, he still is possibly giving you the clearest news that he can find. But my weird thing was kind of that he had a conversation with Anna. I don't know if you watched the Anna stream, and at one point she comments on how people on the front line, soldiers on the front line, don't really enjoy the fact that we are minimizing danger of Russians. And how, like, you know, people go like, oh yeah, they're so stupid, and like, they are fucking stupid, right? But also they learn, and they are dangerous. And we need to keep on pointing this out, and we need to keep getting more funding, because just like with the illusion of Putin dying soon, or with the illusion of Russians rebelling against the government, the illusion of Russians being just too stupid to win also keeps you not doing enough to help Ukraine win. And he did disagree with it. I don't remember exactly how he disagreed with it, but I remember being like, you're a Twitch streamer. You know? Like, as much as I love the man, he is a Twitch streamer. I'm pretty sure, I might be wrong on it, but I'm pretty sure Anna is a lot more engaged in the situation. Zašto brzo? Zašto brzo? Z kojeg razloga? So, what even is homepage for Opera? How do I go to homepage for Opera? Where do I even go? What even is it? I need to restart it to update to a newer version. Is that what you want me to do? But yeah, I think it was kind of interesting to see him disagree, but like, you know, like, cause she's there daily, she's there. Oh, you just wanted me to go here. Oh, okay. Why? Why? For what reason? Yelled saying counteroffensive wouldn't be easy. I do think they were interested. How to say? Depends on what you said. Because I've seen people doing the fake concern thing with the counteroffensive, like people bringing up, for example, oh yeah, Russia actually has defenses in the area, which like everyone knew about. You know, stuff like that. It was a lot of people being like, oh guys, the counteroffensive won't be easy, and then doing the simplest. I remember yelling at people for that. So I'm trying to make it clear that I support yelling at people for that, you know. It was people being like, oh, guys, the counteroffensive won't be easy at all because Russia has a lot of defense lines. No, you don't say. You don't fucking say. Surprise. So I think in some cases yelling at people was deserved, but also, yeah, in some cases I do think people had interesting expectations, and disagreeing with them could have created unnecessary yelling situations. Seems Russia is doing nothing and Ukraine is completely destroying them, and I don't see that on the maps, or not to that extent. Yeah, I think he's choosing to be really, really positive on this. I think he's in very strong pro-Ukrainian circles, which I can understand. But, you know, reliability level is interesting. But also we are seeing lots of new explosions, and yeah, it was Shtanenko, who said sent a lot of new drones. So they should get all their land back, but they need like 100 times more help to do so. And as you can see, hurdles after hurdles are being thrown. Yeah, I'm kind of hoping, it's a dumb thing, but I'm kind of hoping that soonish we get more people aware of the danger of the situation we are in, and I'm hoping this is what pushes us into choosing more active people in our government, which would in turn strengthen the support for Ukraine. That's basically what I'm hoping for, really, because I think we have been lulled into this false sense of security. Not really happy about that, of course. I'm hoping that, with more conflicts happening. Who said it at the start of the stream that like the whole world is burning? But yeah, I'm hoping that more situations reminding you that the whole world might be burning, and the rules-based international order is kind of crumbling if we allow for this to happen. I'm hoping more people get concerned by that, in turn choosing more active politicians, in turn providing more aid. It's kind of You should be pumping in as much into UF as Russia is pumping into their armed forces. Oh no, definitely. I've seen someone point out that there's an actual analysis saying that North Korea sent more ammo to Russia than European Union sent to Ukraine. We promised more, we didn't send it. We sent less. So yeah, we're definitely not desperate enough. We're not desperate enough, and I think it shows. We're too cozy sitting on our safe little asses. We're not doing nearly enough. And I think what's most concerning to me is that I genuinely believe this is how NATO would be responding if one of us gets invaded. Not one of you Westerners, because you would be okay, but I genuinely believe this shows how West would respond if any one of us gets into trouble. Like, it seems to me that they don't care about keeping the same level of reputation and deterrence as I assumed they would care about when it comes to, protecting their allies. I'm genuinely like, I think we've been choosing pussies for a very long time, and I don't think we should be following this path. If Russia added 300 helis, give UAF 300 helis too. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We can afford so much more. That's the worst thing. We can afford so much more. I don't know if you've seen like the GDP comparison. Holy shit, I saw someone talking about the GDP comparison recently. The GDP of European Union combined, and then the GDP of Russia. Bro. The fact that they can afford to last 5 minutes in a war in which we are supporting their opponent is genuinely insulting. That shit is genuinely insulting. We could have ended this in a way if we wanted to. We could have ended this immediately if we wanted to. The amount of just old fucking equipment, Kaja Kallas was talking about this. If we all just looked at our old equipment we got, and if we sent it to Ukraine, this could have been done with. And it isn't done with because we're refusing to be useful. We're just being pussies. European Union still hasn't woken up and is still asleep. Oh, definitely. Definitely no. Fucking pussies. I am hoping though, another thing I'm hoping for. Slovakia went down the shit route. I don't know if you followed, but Slovakia chose a pro-Russian president now. I'm seeing lots more people very concerned about the future of European Union right now. I think there's people getting closer to that point where you're like, oh shit guys, the situation's getting desperate. So I'm hoping that I'm hoping they actually get fucking desperate, and I'm hoping they actually get out to vote accordingly. Russia currently just has a lot more drones. That is also insulting though. That is also insulting. Why couldn't we have given Ukraine more drones? And I understand the one part of it at least, is that the acquiring the drones was made harder. What was it? Something about Ukraine not being able to import Chinese drones anymore? I remember Stenenko, I think, talking about this, right? That they're not able to get something from China anymore. So like getting the drones has become quite harder. But still, I don't know. The fact Russia is able to last in a war with us for this long is insulting. This is fucking insulting. 10 to 30% on military for decades. West, meanwhile, 1% here, there. That I agree with that. I just like our 1% still has so much more equipment than what we are sending. If we were at least proactive, and if we sent this 1%, this would have been done. We're not. We're choosing not to do anything. We're like choosing to not do shit. Russians make war longer. It works against Ukraine and it is possible to fuck off war any close time. No good news. I do remember though seeing one interesting analysis of how, because the West is failing, Ukraine may be pushed more into using their own methods, which let's say I'm hoping to see more of their officials, not coming back home. I'm sure Ukraine has very great intelligence. Budanov already threatened both Russians and their collaborationists. If West keeps failing us, if the West keeps on being a pussy, I expect to see a lot of different action coming from Ukraine. If the West veers towards a war economy, Russia would be absolutely ruined. But it's not our war, so we won't, yeah. I genuinely, unironically believe it won't be our war, even if Eastern NATO gets attacked. Like, I know you people are trying to be positive on this. I genuinely believe that, like, if Romania gets invaded, NATO is going to be giving them crumbs. Like, genuinely, my dude, I'm not believing in this. I don't know. The fact we didn't immediately go, oh, you have broken Budapest Memorandum and you have attacked our ally? Fuck you, we're going to destroy you. The fact we didn't do that, but we went, oh, you broke this deal that you signed? Well, fine. It happens. And then we're having debates over whether helping Ukraine is escalation of an illegal fucking invasion Russia started. Inexcusable. Just inexcusable. We're still not sending long-range weapons. That too, my man. Cowards. Goddamn cowards. 80% of Western European budget is personnel, veterans, pensions, not tanks and ammo. Nice. At least ammo. Thompson 100% believes NATO would help. I think Thompson has more faith in the rules-based international order than I do, and considering the fact it is failing his country right now, that is quite impressive. Because I genuinely do think we're going to see more of this testing happening, and I do believe that one of the testing is likely going to be another Serbian attempt to attack Kosovo. I truly believe either that or Dodik trying to remove Republika from the rest of Bosnia. But I genuinely believe that it's going to be another test to see how the West is going to respond. And I genuinely believe the West is going to fail. My country has nukes. Don't need to rely on no one for defense. Yeah, based. If Ukraine had nukes, this wouldn't be happening. It was it was USA, one of the countries that, encouraged Ukraine to lose their nukes. debating on that. The problem is that, like, we both operate based on vibes. You know, we both operate based on vibes only. We can't really make a proper guess on this. I mean, it's like a debate that can only be solved. We will know who won when NATO actually gets tested, right? That's when we will know. Or we will not know because some of us are going to perish because NATO is going to do nothing to defend us. Like, look, Croatia relies on NATO very, very strongly, okay, to be safe near Serbia. Do I believe we would get help if Serbia invades us? I think we will strongly be relying on the strength of Slovenian diplomacy in this question and Slovenian influence on other countries. Takes time. No, I'm actually leaving the stream. I'm actually leaving the stream. NATO has shown they are strong. I don't think they have. I don't think NATO has shown its strength. I don't think the West has shown its strength. I don't think USA showed its strength. I don't think any of us have shown how strong we are. I think we have all been behaving like pussies. And, you know, if we enter World War III, we will enter it in very big part thanks to our own stupidity and blindness. So, I understand, like, attempts to be more positive on this. I'm just not saying them genuinely. I'm very, very fucking pessimistic over the situation. Understands NATO is off limits, hence why they haven't crossed certain boundaries. You see, I'm not sure I agree with that. Because I don't think they're but also, like, I believe in the I don't know if it's considered a conspiracy. I believe that the missile that landed in Poland was Russian. But I don't believe that all of the drones which went into Romania were accidental. I believe some were, first definitely were accidental, but I believe after they saw the response of NATO, which was to try to cover it up, which I think was the worst thing we could have done. We tried to cover it up. We lied, it didn't happen. We tried to fucking cover it up. Right? We didn't go, Russia, no. We didn't give Romania a means to defend itself. We didn't need to push for Article 5. I understand Article 5 would be an over dramatic reaction. We tried to cover it up, though. Worst possible thing we could have done. Worst possible outcome out of this situation. I genuinely believe that was Russia attempting to cross a boundary to see what we are going to do, and we tried to cover it up. And I believe that encourages them to cross more boundaries, and I believe we are just going to be seeing that in the future. Wait, didn't they try to target Kyiv government? I'm pretty sure they attempted to. But Kyiv is very well protected. That is the way we have, that's the way I've understood it, that they attempted to target Kyiv government several times, Zelensky too, but Kyiv is one of the best, I mean the best protected city in Ukraine. I get your pessimism, but imagine how much worse it would be if Trump had the war. Okay, it's a situation where it's like, I think the current situation is bad. It could have been worse. Right? But, like, it's still bad. it's still bad. It's still not good. Oh, I don't know if Russia could have leveled it. I don't know if Russia could have leveled it, because the way I'm seeing Ukrainians talk about this, I mean, you guys would probably know a lot more about this than I do, because I'm mostly like reading what people are posting. But I've seen them say that Kyiv is the safest place. That like when we talk about new good air defenses coming into Ukraine, we talk about them coming into Kyiv. Which is why, you know, for a while Russia was trying to target Kyiv specifically. I don't know if you remember the time. Was it start of this year? Maybe? When they were just chunking a bunch of stuff at Kyiv and all of it was shut down. And at the time people were being like, oh, it's impossible, Ukraine has like that high of a success rate in shooting down missiles. But it wasn't impossible, it's just that Kyiv is the best protected place in Ukraine. It's impossible to penetrate it. Like, of course it's so fucking safe. They had like several, I think it was only several situations where the debris fell down and caused some damage or like harmed people. Did it kill people a few times? I'm not even entirely sure about what the news were at the time. But I remember the success rate being very, very, very high. And it was because Russia was trying to hit Kyiv specifically. And it didn't work. It never worked. So yeah, I don't really think they didn't try. I think they failed. And they figured that hitting other places is a bit more effective type of a thing. With shady special forces and stuff, you can claim deniability. Yeah, that's true. That's what they did when they invaded Crimea, which also, in a way, I believe that also was testing a boundary, because they sent shady forces. They sent people who are absolutely supported by Russia, but claimed they weren't supported by Russia. Do you remember the soldiers who were on vacation in Crimea, in eastern Ukraine? They were just vacationing there, just when fighting was going on. I believe that was also testing the boundary. I believe that was testing whether USA is actually going to stand by its signature in the Budapest Memorandum. And I believe USA showed how reliable their word is then. And yeah, it doesn't really make me too hopeful on NATO, I'm just saying. I think believing in Ukrainian victory is one thing when you do it realistically, and another thing when you do it kinda, I don't know how to say it to you, clownishly? Am I mixing up my countries? If I'm mixing up my shit, it's because I had to leave 50 minutes ago, my dudes. I have stayed on for way too long, okay? I have been here for way too long. I need to go to sleep. By the way, I'm going to the city tomorrow. I'm getting my birthday present. I'm getting my birthday present and I'm getting my birthday sushi. Okay? So, be happy for me. Be happy for me. It's not my birthday tomorrow. I'm going to get some food anyways, so I'm just kinda happy. We don't have pumpkin spice latte. I tried to find it. I tried to find that shit. I was unable to find that shit. Tattoo like the I'm gonna tattoo Dylan with a tattoo. It's gonna be like tattooception. That's what I'm gonna do. But yeah, basically believing in Ukraine victory, I think, is one thing. Believing that they must win is one thing, and I believe they must win. I believe victory of Ukraine must be ensured in the same way I believe defeat of Russia must be ensured. I believe they must be crushed, and they must be aware that they have gotten crushed, because if they are not, they will just go back to their same shit. They will likely go back to their same shit anyways, but you know, yeah, at least there's going to be some possible hope. So believing in victory of Ukraine is one thing, but I don't believe we should be unrealistic on this. And I believe that trying to be blindly positive on this, you know what I think it is? I think it's the same thing as, you know, people believing Putin will die and then this war will end. Or people believing Russians will rise up against the government and then this war will end. It's like, you're trying to kinda find a way in which you can allow yourself to be less desperate about seeking out as many ways to help Ukraine as possible. I think that's what's happening there. You're trying to find ways to tell yourself, hey, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be alright. This thing is going to happen. It's gonna be okay. We don't need to panic so much. We don't need to, cry so much. We don't need to be desperate so much. It's gonna be okay. And I don't really think it's that easy. And I believe we should do everything we can to keep on lobbying and to keep on assisting and to keep on donating and do whatever you can to be helping Ukraine. Like, to being delusionally positive is not helping anyone. Yeah, defeat of Serbia too, yeah, definitely. Definitely, Serbia has not been properly defeated, which is why even when they overthrew Milosevic, they ended up under this exactly same type of a government. Because Serbia never admitted that it got defeated. If people had supported Chechnya, we wouldn't have seen an invasion of Ukraine. Oh yeah, that too, yeah. Definitely. But people played into Putin's idea of Muslims being extremists. So no one wanted to help Chechens. And then when he invaded Georgia, I genuinely, I don't know why we allow that. I don't know why we allow that, but we allow that, like pussies that we are. And then he broke the Budapest Memorandum. Which is like even dumber that we allowed that. If you look at this, my dude, like 50 years after all of this, children in schools are going to be asking themselves whether we were all collectively retarded. And the answer is gonna be yes. Yes, we fucking were. What was happening back then? What the fuck happened? .99% of FPV drones are volunteer funded. That says a lot of our governments are like, okay, yeah, I can see that. Tomorrow, no, we don't do streams for the weekend usually. I do surprise Saturday streams sometimes, but it's if I have to change the shift. If I have to change the shift in my store, and I'm not changing the shift in my store tomorrow accidentally, sadly. I'm mixing up my English, okay? It's time for me to go to sleep. But yeah, I'm working my proper shift tomorrow, so I will not be able to stream. I can agree that all Russians are liars. I can agree you should never trust a Russian. I can agree you should never trust... You should never place your hope into Russians doing anything. I also don't think that being delusionally positive is helping anyone. No, our children are going to be based. Our children are going to be based, and they're going to read history books, and they're going to see that we saw Russia butcher Chechens, and then we saw Russia invade Georgia, and then we saw Russia invade Ukraine, and we were still debating whether or not Ukraine should be getting long-range weapons. We saw Russia saying this is a fight against the West itself. We saw Russia threatening multiple European states, and we were trying to figure out whether giving more stuff to Ukraine is actually an escalation of this. And then our children are gonna walk into a room and spit in our faces, and we're going to deserve it, my dude. What the drones are produced in Ukraine? Government doesn't have to do everything. I do wish there was a chance to ensure all crumbs of effort possible are put into military. But at the same time, I believe, basically it's not like my place. I see it as not being my place to comment on, because I believe my country is failing. I believe European Union is failing. I believe NATO is failing. And I believe it is my place to criticize all of these and to try to prop up as many good politicians as I can, and to try to, bring attention to politicians being shit as much as possible. It's not really my place to be criticizing what's happening in Ukraine. I think Ukrainians are more than able to do that very well themselves. England is my city. Oh man, that was a good video. I'll have to watch it. But yeah, I have to be leaving. Okay? I actually have to fucking leave. Okay? Are we good? Nice. See you on Monday. Good luck until then. Good luck. I don't know what we're gonna learn about next week. We were supposed to learn about alcoholism this week. It was fun. I think most learning about alcoholism we did was in the last stream, where we collected a bunch of researches. They still have opened here, by the way. I still need to save them. Do you guys remember we talked about lead contamination in home-brewed alcohol? I thought that was really, really interesting. But yeah, I'm hoping to do something Halloween-related next week. Something Halloweenish related. Something, I don't know, graveyards related. Well, we'll see. I'll see what I come up with. But yeah. Half of the West lived in a blissful, peaceful, naive state of mind, where you can wish all problems away. Or if you can't, you just have to cook yourself a little, or force the victim of Russian aggression to cook itself. That surely will stop the aggression, yeah. Surely this is going to help. No. Yeah, DB, how fucking dare you? I'm going to dress up as a doctor. For my Halloween mask, I'm going to dress up as a doctor, and I'm going to be having those gloves that reach all the way to here. I'm gonna walk in front of your place of living, and I'm gonna do the... You remember those? So yes. By the way, a reminder for you alcoholic ones. Yes, a prostate check doctor indeed. For the alcoholic ones here. What we have learned about alcohol, okay, is that if you wanna do it relatively safely, do not drink the home-brewed variant. Drink the store-bought variant because it's better. Home-brewed variants have a lot of shit in them. So, What else was it? I don't remember the rest of the learning we did. But that was one part of it. See, it has lead in it. It has lead in it because they make it at home, and then the pipes and everything that they use to make moonshine leaves it a bit contaminated. There's no much like, yeah, there's whole researches on this. Look at this, there's a whole research on it. But yeah, actually leaving now because I'm seeing some of you people entering to fights, and please don't fight over this. We're all here to support Ukraine. Chill. It's good. Take a step back. All she wants to do is, what's the difference? If you think about it genuinely, what is the difference between me checking your prostate and me fisting your ass? And with that question, I'll leave you for the weekend. See you on Monday, guys.